This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel Abraham, joined by Damon McDonald and very special guest this week. I'm delighted to introduce you all finally to Editor Dan. Dan, how's it going?
It's good, man. Thank you guys for having me on the show. We've been meaning to set this up for a while, so it feels good to be here. It is a pleasure is mine. Thank you.
I mean, it's weird, Joel, isn't it? Having a third mic and Dan, for you, it's got to be great because actually people are going to listen to a show.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Shots fired. I love it.
No, we love Dan. Oh my God, this is a thrill. I'm so sadly though. I thought we were setting this up, Joel, for this to be our first conversation, like actual voice to voice. That didn't actually happen this weekend. It came a little earlier. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, I'm thrilled to have Dan here. This is going to be a fun show.
As well as our first three-way conversation, isn't it? I mean, we've all known each other for over a year now. This is the first time the three of us have spoken in a direct conversation. So there's that. We're making history here on the Super J-Cast. But Dan, can you introduce yourself for the audience? Tell us how you got into New Japan.
Yeah, sure. So obviously, for those that don't know, I'm the person that edits this wonderful show. So when these guys send me completely dreadful audio footage, I make it sound great. I'm going to take all the credit for that.
He's not lying.
No,
The
I'm really
absolute mess that we've sent Dan some weeks. Good Lord.
It's not always dreadful, but yeah. So I kind of got into New Japan. I think it was sort of by accident, really, just before Wrestle Kingdom 11, if my memory doesn't not serve me correctly. But I was watching sort of Ring of Honor, and I saw the New Japan guys. AJ Styles, I think, was over there at the time, and I said, you know what, I want to check this out. So I started watching it, and obviously you guys have taken it to the extreme, especially you, Joel. I would still call myself a filthy casual. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, and let's just be honest, it's some of the best wrestling and storytelling on the planet, so who doesn't love New Japan?
Yeah, I did mention last week that you were the person who helped educate me when I first started watching around Wrestle Kingdom 11 time. So I did promise that I would include the link to that episode of the Smartcast in the show notes. And I really don't want anyone to listen to it. But there it is. It's going to be out there anyway, so you can hear some very ignorant, bad takes.
Please don't listen to that show.
I want to hear it so bad. I mean, I feel like that's the Patreon show though. Like if we ever got the fucking that wall up and decided to, can we make a couple bucks here? That might be the show, Joel. I'm just saying. I think people would pay $3 to watch you stumble and stammer through a Wrestle Kingdom show. That might be a moneymaker.
Well, you know what? We have moved to this new podcast host called Red Circle. And if you go to redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast, you'll find our page. And there is a button that says sponsor this podcaster. So you could just send us money for no reason whatsoever. So
is there?
Maybe we should set a little target for that.
That might be nice because... Should we talk? No.
We ain't getting money from anywhere else, are we?
No, we're not. We're not. Notice how we won't do any live reads, Joel. I'm just saying. Jesus Christ.
Yes, because the wrestling we talk about isn't white enough.
Apparently not. Apparently not. Yeah. Okay. Anywho, Dan, you've had a wonderful, entertaining, fun weekend. Originally, the main reason why you're here is because you were in attendance for that pretty great Royal Quest show. But before you get in the building, we had a little meetup. You spent some time at what was it, the Crate? Was it? And you met a couple of listeners.
Brewery,
Yep. You met a couple of fans, couple of listeners from both our show and your show, and talk a little bit about that. Talk about some of the guys you met and the fun that you guys had before the show actually kicked off.
Yeah, so obviously I turned up nice and early. Little did we know, it was actually a West Ham home game. They don't play too far away from where the Copper Box Arena was, so the pub was absolutely rammo, which was kind of annoying. I didn't expect anybody to come and meet me, because at the end of the day, you guys are the stars. I'm just a silly editor back here. But surprisingly, we actually had 2 people come up. They took your advice and bought me a drink. I'm trying to search for their names on the WhatsApp, but I cannot for the life of me find them. But they know who they are, and thank you for buying me alcohol. I do appreciate it. All alcohol received is taken in good faith, and if anyone ever meets me again, more alcohol. Thank you ever so much.
A question here from Carl who said, how many £6 Peronis did Dan buy? Was that at the venue?
Yeah. So in the venue, they had Peroni on tap. Now, I've got to say, the host of the Smartcast, Alan, who went with us, he actually done all the beer buying, so my hand didn't go into my pocket once. So I'm not sure how many he actually bought, but man, the man must be made of money, because £6 for a Peroni is absolutely disgusting.
He's getting all the Smartcast dollars, isn't he?
Yes, exactly.
They've probably got ad reads from Red Circle.
They probably do. Everybody's making money but us, Joel. Jesus Christ. So the crowd, you said it was packed. Again, a mix of footy fans, a mix of guys and young ladies seeing the pro wrestling. What noisy crowd up for it? Were they excited? Did it seem like it took a little bit of while for them to get going, or right out of the gate did you see this is going to be one of those great pro wrestling nights?
No, tell you what, when Roppongi 3K come out, like the crowd just popped. Like you could tell straight away. I mean, I was in my seat and I was just like, yeah, I'm about to have a decent night. So it was noisy from the get-go. Throughout the show, there was dips and troughs, as I think there is with any live audience. But no, it was packed. The atmosphere felt good. And that venue, the Copper Box Arena, I think is so perfect for wrestling events. Just the way that the whole place is set up. It's easy to get to. It just has a nice feel inside. But yeah, man, no, people were ready to go.
So you got to meet some listeners of the show, and meeting new people. You also made a very special new friend, Dan, didn't you? You want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so halfway through the show, obviously I'm a dirty smoker. I'm also a vapor as well. So I decided to go out for a quick fag, and I had roll-ups. So I'm outside having a fag, and I see 2 guys in suits. And I thought, you know what, they're in suits. They've probably got a bit more money than me. They can afford a straight. So I asked them if they had a straight. And one of them responded in an American-Canadian accent and said that he didn't. So I complimented them on their suits, and obviously just inquiring, I said, oh, do you guys like work for New Japan? And one of the guys said that he did, to which I responded, oh, great. I said, I edit the Super J Cast. And immediately he got kind of quite animated with me. And was a bit mad with you guys. Now it turns out that I was actually speaking to Michael Craven. No, I didn't actually.
Of all people,
Could not make this shit up, David.
Well, I mean, what are there? 8,000 people, all right, not including production and everybody else. Dan walks out just to get a quick cigarette, and he walks into Michael Craven. Okay, so again, you say
The week after we had quite an interesting discussion about this guy.
Right. I mean, of all the fucking dumb luck. Okay, so, and again, I'm going to be popping in with questions on this one, Dan. I can't resist, and I'm sure Joel will too.
That's
so,
fine.
you say, yeah, casually, yeah, I edit the Super J-Cast, blah, blah, blah. And so it was a friendly tone that turned to a less than friendly tone, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I don't think he was happy about the fact that I asked him for a cigarette anyway. But as soon as I said, like, I edit for the Super J Cast, he got quite angry. You could tell that he switched from just like, who's this guy asking me for a cigarette to, oh, okay. It sort of went like that. And he said that he wasn't happy with you. Us, actually.
Join the club.
Yeah. He said that you're reporting incorrect information. And at this point, I felt the need to say to him, listen, I just edit the show. You know, I said, what them guys do and say on the show is completely down to them. I said, it's just my job to edit. He didn't really listen to that, and he continued to be quite animated. I had to tell him 3 times, like, yo, man, I literally just edit the show. And I also I extended the hand and said, listen, if anything that the guys have said on the show that you're not happy with or you want to set the record straight, I can sort it out. I can get you on the show. And he also declined that offer as well. So, yeah, it was quite surreal, to be honest with you. I was quite taken back and felt a little bit important at the same time.
Give me a scale of 1 to 10. I'm sorry, Joe. Give me a scale of 1 to 10 of he was a docile young baby in swaddling clothes to he was enraged, in your face, barking orders like a drill sergeant. On a scale of 1 to 10, I just need to know the tone of this.
I would say it bordered on a 6. It maybe for a moment it could have been a 7, but then obviously he calmed down. So it was like as soon as he heard the Super J Cast come out of my mouth, he was instantly in 7, like DEFCON 7, right? Then once he realised that I'm not like actually on the show, I just edit it, he slowly sort of calmed down. And then by the end of it, he wanted to speak to me about stuff that he said had to be off record, and I don't repeat, and I won't repeat because I think that's unfair. I wouldn't like someone to dox me like that. So yeah, I would say an average 6.
Okay, you said that he was with someone. Do you know who that someone was?
Yes, I believe that. Do you know what? I forgot his name, Joel. I think he's the Rev Pro owner, I believe.
Andy Quilden.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay, so when Michael got animated, what was Andy doing?
Not a lot. So they was obviously having a chat. So if Andy was on the right and Thingy was on the left, Craven was on the left, I come over, I sort of stood in the middle. So when we started having our sort of altercation, if you could say, Andy sort of just disappeared behind. He didn't say goodbye or whatever. He just sort of slowly faded off into the distance, and that was the last I saw of him.
All I see is Homer Simpson going into the shrubs.
Yes! Yes.
What did he say? Like he said that. What did he say that we got anything wrong?
Yeah, he said the Lanny Poffo stuff that you got incorrect, and he was also trying to shift blame onto somebody else for decisions that you guys have accredited him with making. But I think it's almost like the realism kicked into his head, and he was like, "Hang on a minute, some guy has come up to me. He said he edits for the Super J Cast, and I'm now talking to him about stuff that maybe I shouldn't be saying," and then it all got a sort of bit fizzled out, and we sort of went our separate ways. But yeah, apparently you guys have been incorrect and you haven't got the correct information. And he doesn't want to come on here to tell you that. He's told me to tell you that.
Right.
Okay, so
Joel, you go.
Specifically, this is something that we mentioned. We said that Michael Craven was responsible for Lanny Poffo being hired. Now, I'm just going to tell you a quote. This is from my favourite podcast. You might remember this one, Damon. The Genius Cast.
I remember. It's
one Lanny Poffo.
Yes. Yeah.
So, direct quote from the Genius Cast, from the lips of Mr. Poffo himself. "I'll tell you what I know. Michael Craven from New Japan. I met him September 1st at All In. He asked me if I would be interested in holding the microphone as a colour commentator for New Japan. And I responded, wow, that would be great."
I mean, right? We didn't just pull it out of our ass, because we talked about it when it happened. And if I'm not mistaken, we used that exact quote from his show. And then we had fun with the Genius Cast. But that's and then that was confirmed. I don't know, how was that wrong? I don't. All right, again, look, here's what we'll do. Joel, here's what we're going to take the high road, right? For the first time ever on this show, we're gonna take the high road.
Sorry, but before we take the high road, I just want to say we are not in the business of just sensationalism. We like to, we want to do our due diligence, okay? So this is not like we just pulled information out of our arse, or one person told us something that could have been hearsay. We double-checked, we triple-checked, we spoke to more than one person. Right?
Yeah. So, and then when we did put information out, we got information back from other people, right? That that were over and above. So it's like, not only confirming but kind of saying same things. So it's not like, again, we're pulling shit out of our ass when it comes to this. The Poffo stuff I think is hilarious because fucking Lanny Poffo said it, not us. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
No, that was it really. I just think the key thing here, we are not afraid of being wrong, right? We're not the sort of people that are going to double down on stuff that turns out to be untrue. If something we put out there is not true, and we've done it in good faith, right? If it's not true, tell us, and we will issue corrections, right? More than happy to do that. Yeah?
Absolutely. Again, here's what I would say. Dan offered with a clear head, said, "Hey, if there's an issue, by all means, come on the show." I can't do that. Okay, and that's understandable, right? I can understand that you don't want to go on our show, have it recorded, have it out there for whatever reasons, whether it's the company, whether it's whatever. That's fine. That's cool. You know where we are. Hit us up. You obviously listen, right? You know how to get a hold of us.
Slide in the DMs, set us straight. You wouldn't be the first person to do that.
Yeah, no, we got no problem with that, and we can have a civil conversation, and we can discuss where we might not be hitting the mark with your version of the truth. That's more than fine. So again, we're extending. Not only are we extending that offer off the record, we're extending that olive branch as well, right? Because here's the thing: we don't have any personal stakes in this, right? We just reported what happened, and that, that's kind of that. That's that. But if again the offer is there, if we want to clear the air, if we want to get the information right, by all means, hit us up. We'd be more than happy to take that and have that conversation. 100%.
So Dan, have you recovered from? I mean, how did you feel afterwards?
Well, I mean, I was in a little bit of shock. I mean, I believe I bumped into him around about the time of the Kenta and Ishii match. And it sort of took me out of the show because I was thinking about sort of what happened, the fact that I spoke to him. It was surreal. And I sort of come back into the actual wrestling that was going on when Okada come out. So, yeah, no, I've recovered. I find the whole thing a bit strange.
I'll tell you what, Dan. The show's going on, Joel, and I get a phone call. I'm on the couch watching the show, and I get a phone call, and it's from London. And I'm like, I'm looking, I under my breath, I'm like, this is fucking Dan, isn't it? Because Dan actually texted me, us in our group, and I think you were asleep. I'm like,
yeah, I woke up early in the morning and I just looked at my phone and seeing a message from Dan saying, I'm speaking to Michael Craven. He's not very happy with you guys.
Right. So I go, I'm like, I got to take this fucking call. And I never take phone calls. I was like, I got to, this is either going to be Dan or it's going to be somebody trying to fucking rip me off for my taxes or something. Right? So I'll roll the dice. And it was fucking Dan. And again, we've never had a conversation before. And you're telling me this, and the show is going on. I'm like, Dan, go watch the fucking show. And I could tell you were kind of wound up. You were like, what the fuck was that? And I kind of agree. What the fuck was that? But okay. But yeah, I mean, Dan, you're an adult, and I'm not gonna pump your chest up, but you can. You've been in situations and but yeah, you were taken aback by it. I don't think that there's any harm in saying that.
No, and that's definitely true. And I felt the need to call you my savior. I don't know what you're going to do from the United States of America, but you picked up the phone.
I'm sending nukes.
Yeah, nukes.
Oh my goodness gracious! Well, Dan, first let me apologize. Let me apologize because it took you out of the show. Are you telling me that did you watch the rest of the show?
I did, yeah, but
okay.
Not with the same attitudes as before this incident happened. To be honest with you, I knew I was coming on your show today, boys, to obviously discuss this show. So it was very important that I took as much away from it as possible. Then obviously the Craven thing happened, and then all I could think about was the Craven thing. So yeah, it kind of ruined my experience. So if he does come on here, I think he owes me a ticket to another London show, because I don't feel I got my full £61 worth, or whatever the ticket price was. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Has he got the authority to do that anymore?
Probably. Well, actually, he did say his exact words were, "Well, I'm standing here, aren't I? If I'm not in charge, I'm standing here, aren't I?" So I take it he must.
Okay. I mean, look, he's more than the olive branch, the whatever the fuck stupid analogy you want to call it, it has been extended. By all means, Joel, myself, both of us, we'd be more than happy to discuss anything that that he feels we missed the mark on, and we'll come with why we don't think we missed the mark. Here's the thing.
Because to be honest, Damon, I'm not seeing where the lies are here.
Right. And there's listen, there's absolutely 100% possibility that we get fed bullshit information. But I will say this, every bit of information that we get fed, right? Every bit of information it has. It's come to pass, right? We're not newsbreakers. We're just not. But in this particular case, we may have been. And again, if we're off the mark, by all means, let's correct us. Correct us. We're making that opportunity available. So that's that.
There you go, Dan. I bet when you agreed to edit this stupid podcast, you didn't think it would end up with you getting berated by New Japan Pro Wrestling executives down the line.
Not at all.
Yeah, so we're sorry. We're really sorry about that. So you talked a bit about the live experience there, but we had a question from Mark who said, who's in the hot seat, maybe means hot water, with the NJPW office more, ROH or Fight? So I understand the Fight TV stream had some issues. I watched it on TV Asahi, and it was okay. There weren't any huge problems. It did make everything pretty quiet, because I think they reduced the volume in order for them to hear the Japanese commentary. But Damon, you were watching it on Fight TV. How was it down your end?
Total hunk of steaming shit. It was terrible. I mean, it was one of the worst. It felt like I was in 1995. Dropouts, syncing issues, cameras going out. Speaking of the Simpsons reference, we kept getting that technical difficulties pop up in the middle of matches. You would miss. Guys would be in the ring, climbing the top rope, and then the next thing you know, they're in an armbar. Right? You would miss finishes. Kevin Kelly, God bless his soul. Gino, God bless his soul. We didn't hear you for at least 4 matches. There was no commentating whatsoever. You couldn't hear the mics. And then when you did, in the beginning, you heard kind of like just very muffled, like they were talking into a tin can trying to get it. Now, by the GOD match, it felt like the commentating got better, like the not the actual product, but the technical issues were starting to get resolved. But I had enough. It was unwatchable live. And again, for $25, I was sitting on the couch. I was there. It was a beautiful day, but I was like, all right, I'm awake. This is be a great time to watch this show. Get in, out the door I go. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. I bailed out. I asked for a refund, and I considered it a loss. And then, I got that same Japanese feed of the show that you did, and that didn't have any issues. So Fight TV blamed the venue. They kept saying that it was a venue, the signal or the equipment or the whatever issue was coming from the venue and not them.
I can back that up, Damon, because the signal in there was dreadful.
Yeah, you were saying from an internet
view,
communication. Yeah, he couldn't even send me pictures.
Nope.
Yeah. So whatever the reason, the stream was abysmal. But here's the thing too. I went online and looked through their feed, and they were getting double dinged. Not only were they getting hammered from New Japan fans, they were getting hammered from people that were at that Starcast for the CM Punk talk. Right? He did like a live talk thing that was being streamed, and people were having issues with that. So Look, that couldn't. If you're working fight customer service, that couldn't have been a good fucking weekend for you. But it was horrible, and I got to be honest. I don't know if I would do the fight thing ever again. I can't recommend it because it was just such a horrific experience.
Changing the subject, this is a completely random observation, but I did notice some people, maybe it's just me that gets annoyed by this, but people wearing merchandise of wrestlers from a different company. Like I saw someone near the front row wearing a Young Bucks t-shirt. Is it just me that was like, why are you wearing that at a New Japan show?
Yeah, I kind of feel a little bit like that. Are you a guy that goes to concerts and wears the band's t-shirt?
No, I think that's uncool.
Right.
But I think if you're going to a wrestling show, then it's okay to wear a wrestler's t-shirt, but I wouldn't wear the t-shirt of a wrestler from a rival company.
Right.
Especially not of a wrestler that, I don't know, who've been firing shots at the company, who's the product you're watching live in the building.
Right. Who's at the very least used the company that you're watching to help launch their own brand in the United States. Right. When they're supposed to be working, they're shooting elite videos. Anywho, Dan, what is your thoughts on this? Where do you stand on the t-shirt controversy?
I mean, at the end of the day, let's not make it like WWE where they kick you out of the venue or make you change your shirt. I don't want it to become like that. I think people should be able to wear whatever they want. But, just be mindful that if you're going to go in there with a shirt that might not necessarily be promoting the brand that you're going to see, that you might get a few dodgy looks. See, I just avoid all this controversy by wearing a flannel shirt. Checkered flannel shirt, skinny jeans with the rips in the knees. I just literally live up to my inner hipster. So I had no issues.
I know. I feel the same way as you, Dan. I don't think... I'll go so far as to wear the brand. So I'll wear the Lion Mark t-shirt. I don't really wear wrestling t-shirts at shows. I downplay that a lot. I really do. Although I did just this weekend, I got sent to me the Super J Cup t-shirt. It's a nice t-shirt. And one of our loyal listeners sent that to us. So I got that in the mail today, or the other day. All right, t-shirt talk. There you go. All right, what else we got?
So let's talk about the matches themselves. So the first match was Sho, Yo, and Rocky Romero defeating Ren Narita, Shota Umino, and Ryusuke Taguchi in 8 minutes 19. Sho pinning Ren Narita after the power breaker. So, Damon, you go first. What do you think of this match?
It was good. Short, sweet, fast. It gave... Look, nobody thought the Taguchi team was going to pull out a win. Nobody in that building. But it's, a good opener, fast. Again, what was it? Not even 5 minutes, I don't think. Didn't feel like it was more than 5 minutes, that's for sure.
8 minutes.
It was 8 minutes. Felt like 5. Look, if an 8-minute match feels like 5, I think that's a good thing, right? It wasn't like I was looking at my phone at any point. I love the fact that they bring over the Young Lions, too. Like, to me, that... And Dan, let me ask you this. Did it feel... Like, you've gone to Rev Pro, New Japan, Mixed Match shows.
Yes.
And you've experienced that. Did this feel, and again, you haven't been to Japan. Okay, great. Did this feel like a New Japan show?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would think.
See the Young Lions, the way that everything was set up, the ring, they had this sort of introduction at the start to tell people not to film anything on their phone, but a lot of it was in Japanese. So yeah, it did feel like I was at a New Japan show instead of a mashup show of Rev Pro and New Japan.
Yeah, and I think the Young Lions help, at the very least, they help to give you that New Japan experience. If they do anything else, it feels like a New Japan show when they are there. So I love that they bring them over. Again, it's not so much, they're working with the same people they always work with, just in front of a different feel, a different building, a different crowd. But they just help lend an air of authenticity that you would not get if you just had local guys working that show.
Yeah, agreed.
So how was your experience of the match live, Dan? How did you enjoy it, and what were the receptions like for the people involved?
There was Roppongi 3K chants straight away. I was actually with the the guy sitting to my right, I work with him. This was his first ever wrestling show. So he's a massive wrestling fan, but never actually been to a live show. So what a show to pop your cherry at. And I just distinctly remember him saying, what is that guy wearing in terms of Taguchi when he comes out in his rugby stuff? So I tried to explain it and realised, why am I explaining this man? Like, he's just unique. But I think like he fell in love with him. But no, live it was great. You could tell the whole crowd was like, as soon as it started, they were like, yes, come on, New Japan. I enjoyed this match. It didn't feel too long. I actually thought it felt a bit short. I was like, oh wow, we're going at that pace, because so used to having things go longer in New Japan. But no, thoroughly enjoyable, and I think it was a good opener.
Speaking of the young lions, Shota Umino had a lovely time while he was over in the UK, because on his Instagram story, there's a beautiful picture of him sitting in a park in the sunshine with a caption, "I'm fucking enjoyed in London. Thank you, Jesus UK." So was he fucking enjoyed by the fact? Did you fucking enjoy him, Dan?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I fucking enjoyed him. Thank you, UK.
All right, well, let's talk about the second match on the show, which was Kota Ibushi and Juice Robinson, Golden Juice, as I dubbed them last week, defeating the team of Hikuleo and Yujiro Takahashi. Ibushi pinning Hikuleo after 8 minutes 46 with the Kamigoye. And my favourite bit of this match was Juice rubbing his nipples. This is a good match. I'm impressed by Hikuleo. I think he is improving, but he's got a very unsettling physique and way of moving. I'm getting like Slender Man vibes from him. But Damon, what do you think of this?
It was enjoyable, right? Like, I think the most enjoyable aspects was the, we'll call it the interactions between Juice and Kota, specifically the post-match, where they're debating with each other on who's going to leave the ring and how we're going to exactly open the ropes and how are we going to exit. I know that there was a large audience that was... we'll just say very pleased with some of the images that were coming forth during that exchange. Look, this is the first time I've seen Hikuleo in a long time. Right, I will be truthful and tell you that he has fallen off of my radar when it comes to his progression, and I think a lot of people as well. Right, we rarely mention him since his excursion. He looked okay. I know even before he left, I can't tell you how many people were talking about him being a future guy and all this stuff. And I think we got a long fucking way to go before we even start talking about that. Like, I wouldn't put him in the level of the current young lions, right? He's not in that conversation, is he, guys?
No, he's
not for me.
Very green. Very green.
Yeah. With that being said, I enjoyed seeing him. I thought he did well. I thought he did fine. And, of course, everybody else held up their end of the bargain. But, yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me is going to be the post-match celebration with Juice and Kota and the body parts rubbing together as they leave the ring.
People are interested in this. I've got questions about this. Matty T says, what's the official relationship status of Golden Juice? I don't know if this is calling for the reappearance of my segment. Joel states that wrestlers are in a relationship as if it was a verifiably proven fact, when it's more so just his idealized fantasy based on hearsay. But the stuff I've heard about Juice and no, I'm joking. I've heard nothing. Nicole says, we can all agree that we need to see more Golden Juice, right? Yeah, very, very horny stuff. Dan, what did you think of the match and of Golden Juice?
Yeah, I mean, I think Damon covered it like enough. Golden Juice is fantastic. Kota is so unbelievably over in the UK. So is Juice, actually. Hikuleo, mate, do you know what I said? I was a bit disappointed that Yujiro didn't come out with, any of these wonderful, lovely women, which sort of disappointed me and Alan quite a bit. Alan was one of the guys that I was with. And Hikuleo, to me, I don't know, he just moves a little bit festerous, if you know what I'm saying. He just doesn't, I don't know. I was just like, that man's here just to get pinned. But overall, great match. And yes, I want to see more Golden Juice. Who doesn't want to see more Golden Juice? Saying the word Golden Juice just sounds so wrong, though. Golden Juice.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Speaking of show favourites, are you guys ready for another chapter in the hilarious misadventures of 36-year-old man-child Kota Ibushi? Because I saw this on Chris Charlton's Twitter. This is a quote from an interview with Ibushi. So, are you going to get a cool briefcase for that contract? Ibushi says, they give you a case, The other person says, you should have one by now. You need to keep it safe. Ibushi says, I don't know. I just thought I'd carry it around like this. The interviewer says, what if you lose it? Ibushi says, would that be a problem? Interviewer, you probably get fined or something. Ibushi, can I not just photocopy it and take the copy with me? No. So he might end up being the first person to lose the briefcase, but like literally lose it by forgetting where he last put it.
Well, listen, at least he's in a country where they are pretty notorious in the sense of if you lose something, you have a really good chance of getting it back, whether it be on the train or at the hotel or something. So if he's going to lose it, I would. That's probably why you didn't see him bring it out, right? Because he would lose it. It would still be in the UK. So Dan, you'd have to go find the fucking thing. You'd be on a mission from New Japan.
That'll be the next text in the middle of the night. Guys, I found Kota Ibushi's briefcase.
Yeah.
And he's not very happy with you guys.
Right. Somehow it would be our fault.
Yeah.
You're taking contracts off my table. That we don't want. We need that to be tape it to his leg or something. I don't know. He doesn't seem very responsible with that. No one thought that this would be an issue in the beginning, but now everybody's in a panic because he's going to lose that fucking contract. And by lose, right, just lose the contract.
Let's talk about the third match on the show, which was the Birds of Prey, Will Ospreay and Robert Eagles defeating Bullet Club team of El Fantasma and Taiji Ishimori. Will Ospreay pinning El Fantasma after the double top rope Spanish fly, which they're calling Red Wing. I thought the entrance for El Fantasma and Ishimori looked really cool because you had like the strobe lights and then Ishimori's horned skull helmet illuminated from the back. I just thought it looked really great. And Birds of Prey clearly put a lot of work into coming up with some cool tag moves, as did the Bullet Club team, actually. So let's give both of them their props. And I love the fact that Birds of Prey had matching gear. It's a small touch, but I think it's an important one for a tag team. And Eagles in particular, I think the new gear just makes him look like more of a star. It's, like the little wings on the boots and the feather pattern and stuff like that. I really enjoyed this match because I've had my fill of a lot of the guys involved in singles matches. So getting them in a fast-paced tag match where you're just getting little bite-sized chunks of each of the pairings was a nice, refreshing change for me. And I really like the Red Wing finishing move. So, Damon, your thoughts on this?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And when we heard the show and the lineup, both of us were like, this match on paper sounds absolutely fucking delicious. And I think it delivered. Again, where they are in the card in a 3 hour plus show, would you have liked to have seen them get a smidge more time? Yes, but I think they made the most of the time. I love the tag team of Eagles and Ospreay. I think they actually look. One of my bigger pet peeves is when a team doesn't feel or look or act like a team, right? And I thought they looked like a tag team. Like they looked like, and again, anybody can get matching outfits and whatever the fuck. They felt like a legitimate tag team that have been working the fucking the Tennessee Loop, right, in 1987, and that's a good thing, right? They looked sharp. They looked like the puzzle pieces fit perfectly together. It didn't look awkward or odd. And I am all for. I don't give a fuck. I am all for a tag title run, junior tag team title run with Ospreay and Robbie Eagles. I think that would be tremendous.
Dan, thoughts on this match being live at the arena, and what was the reception like for those involved?
Well, I mean, obviously, Will Ospreay is going to get humongous pops. It felt really good in there. People were really invested in this. I thought it was going to go on for a bit longer, but it is the third match on the night. But again, all of these 3 matches so far felt like they were very quick, especially for New Japan. I do have a question for you two, though, because maybe I've just been out of the loop. But obviously, at the end, Will got on the mic, and I swear that he kept saying something about sex pig. Now, I'm no expert on this, but what the hell is he talking about? What is a sex pig?
Oh, no. Joel, you're going to have to take this one.
I don't know. It's just something that just started appearing on a social media. I think maybe it was like a little inside joke between him and his missus, Bea Priestley,
Right.
and now he's just running with it. And I imagine there's going to be Sex Pig merchandise, and I really dislike it. I think it's awful.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. The live crowd seemed to care no different whether he said it or not. But when I heard the word sex pig, I was like, the people I need to ask are you two. Because if anything weird like that, you're the place to come. So thank you for clearing that up.
That's the only thing I know, Dan, is that it was like an internet-y thing, Twitter thing. I would see it in our Discord, our people talking about it both positively and rather harshly making fun of it. It's just a thing, and I don't. It's Will being Will online. Chalk it up to that.
It's chalked.
A question from Matty T. He says, despite the spoilerific ring announcing, not sure what he's getting at there. But anyway, question is, Birds of Prey should be heavily featured in Junior Tag League. I did say I would like to see Ospreay take a back seat for the rest of the year, but if we are to get Birds of Prey in the Junior Tag League, I certainly wouldn't say no, because they showed me enough in this little match alone to show me that it's something fresh that I would enjoy watching.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about seeing more Will Ospreay, especially with Robbie Eagles, especially in Junior Tag. If I can get more high quality matches with high quality opponents, I'm not going to complain. I talked about it last week, Joel. I don't understand the idea of more is bad. Right? I'll take it. He could be on any fucking show he wants, and I'd be more than happy. Because again, I think a lot of people were really looking forward to this match. On paper, this was a sexy match, and I think it delivered. Again, in a third match kind of role, tag team match, I think it delivered. I mean, not in an epic performance. It's not going to be on his. When we go through, Wrestler of the Year and we look at all his matches throughout the year, I don't know if this is going to be on the top of the list, but, this was a real good junior tag that has me, at the very least, invested in this tournament, right? Even more so than I already was. I think that's a fucking win. I can't complain about that.
Got some notes here on El Phantasmo, who, after one of the Super J Cup shows, he said that he is going to retire Jushin Thunder Liger before Wrestle Kingdom. Right, so a lot of people got scared and thought that meant that he was going to face Liger at Wrestle Kingdom, but he said before, so I thought maybe we might get ELP versus Liger, maybe at the San Jose show, one of the Fighting Spirit Unleashed shows. He also made some welfare jokes and called Ospreay the autistic assassin, which was not well received at all, which he did apologise for it, and I will read the apology, so you make of it what you will. He says, let me just find it, I'd like to address my actions after winning. Blah, 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 blah. In the heat of the moment, I called Will Ospreay the autistic assassin, and I want to say sorry to anyone that was offended by my comment. It was uncalled for on my behalf, and you deserve better. Looking back, I wish I didn't say it. I promise it wasn't scripted. It was an unnecessary way of getting cheap heat, I guess he meant, and I genuinely apologise if you were hurt by my words. I've never been comfortable on the mic. The inexperience showed, and I promise to do better going forward. So when I first read that, I thought it was going to be one of those horrible, I'm sorry you were offended, non-apologies. But I thought it seemed pretty genuine by the end of it, at least. So he said something stupid, and he's apologised for it. But it's difficult to, you hear that, what he said, calling Ospreay the autistic assassin, and then the hat throwing incident, and it does start to paint a picture in your mind of the person rather than the wrestler, but hopefully he can keep his nose clean and stop saying and doing stupid things. He also said at RevPro last night he's moving to Japan, so it seems like we're going to be seeing a lot more of Mr. Phantasmo.
That's fine. Look, you can't. Everyone, I'm a firm believer of everyone makes mistakes, and if you own it and you give us a sincere apology. And I know that there is a huge debate of whether that apology was even needed for a heel wrestler and all that. I like the fact that it was done. I do, and I'm not the type of person that gets super, offended by some stuff. There's some. I didn't like it when it was not released. What's the word I'm looking for? When it got out that that was said. I personally didn't like it. I just think there's better ways for a heel to get heat. I like the apology. I'm going to be honest. I like it. I think it was, and I think it was sincere. That's the one thing that I think is clear in that apology. Again, you can debate. He's a heel, blah blah blah, and I hate that debate. You know how to get heat. You don't, and if you don't know how to get heat, then that's a perfect example of how not to get heat.
Dan, any thoughts on El Phantasmo?
Don't be a dick. Just think about what you say before you say it. It's the world we live in nowadays. Like, sometimes you can't even breathe without someone getting offended. So just don't, I guess. Be better, as they say.
Well said. Fourth match, we had Sanada and Tetsuya Naito defeating Chase Owens and Jay White. Sanada getting the submission win over Chase Owens in 12 minutes 59 with the skull ends. And we got some huge pops and boos from people in this match. The biggest pop of the night was Naito ripping his trousers off. Damon, your thoughts on the match, please?
Well, one thing is perfectly clear. Naito, I don't care where you go. And I don't care if it's Australia. I don't care if it's London. I don't care if it's New York City. I don't care if it's Los Angeles. I don't care if it's Tokyo. I don't care if it's Osaka. The motherfucker is over, right? I don't. And Dan, correct me if I'm wrong. It sounded like he got the biggest pop of anybody in that building this night. Am I off base?
Without a shadow of a doubt, man. And he's my favourite. So he's over with me and the whole crowd there, as you could hear by the fact that he was like just building up to taking off his trousers, for God's sake. He's not even done anything yet, and people are going ape shit.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that. I think the two things that I take away from this match, Joel, is one, yep, we're getting Sanada red hot, right? As we'll find out later on. We're putting him directly on the fire. And two, I thought it was a little bit significant that there was as much of a post-match beatdown on Jay White, right? From, not only just tossing him out of the ring like he was a sack of garbage, Naito mounting him, opening in his eye. That looked like a painful spot. It looked like Jay White was a little uncomfortable in there as Naito's got his fingers in his eyes opening them. It looked very, and I know we're building toward a program here between those two, but it felt like, wow, that was a definitive statement from Naito that it just didn't feel like a dynamic that I would see in building to a championship match, the way that I wouldn't say that Jay White was easily disposed of post-match, but it felt like if I'm walking out of that building, I'm remembering Jay White got his ass kicked by Naito at the end of that match.
And I was also quite surprised as well, or maybe not so surprised, but Sanada, he got a very loud reception as well, didn't he, Dan?
He did. Yep, he did. I'm not a fan of the beard and the hair, but he's over as well. He's over as well, and I think just Lij in general, especially in London from the Rev Pro shows that I've been at when they've been there, people just love them, man. I think as well. I think these guys are seen as like the underdog. And I think it's just a natural British thing. I think you can agree with this, Joel, where we tend to always root for the underdogs. I don't know whether Lij being on top in everything would be the best for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That part of the appeal is the fact that they're getting constantly screwed by the man, and that if they do find themselves holding all the belts and showered with glory, then that compromises those dynamics somewhat.
Yeah, but I think that's everywhere, right? That's everywhere. I think everybody likes the you go into Cork and Hall and you'll have a match between, I don't know, I'm just going to pick two fucking names, Tanahashi and Juice. You're going to get a lot of that crowd rooting for Juice. Why? Because he's the underdog, right? I think that's and even in, like, if you have no rooting interest in the Champions League final or whatever, you might root for the team that might not have been there before, right? Or has no trophy. So, yeah, I can definitely see that, Dan.
I mean, LIJ, they're like the England football team, aren't they? Or Naito specifically. So like one little moment of glory, but then just misery and near misses ever since. So maybe that's why he's so beloved in the UK.
You've put the song in my head now, Joel. All I can hear is "It's coming home, it's coming." Damn you!
It's coming. The IWGP Heavyweight Championship's coming home.
That's it.
All right, fifth match then. We had the IWGP Tag Team Championship match with Gorillas of Destiny, Tangaloa and Tama Tonga defeating the winners of RevPro's Road to Royal Quest tournament, Aussie Open, Carl Fletcher and Mark Davis, with Tangaloa pinning Carl Fletcher after a super powerbomb and GOD retaining their Tag Team Championships. Just one thing I noticed from this that stood out to me is that Fletcher's really filled out, because last time we saw him wrestling in a New Japan context, he looked very skinny and frail, but now he's bulked up a bit and looks like a more serious professional wrestler than he did before. Your thoughts on the match, please, Damon?
Great. Joel, Dan, this was one of my favorite GOD matches ever, right? I really like this match a lot. From the opening bell, even before the opening bell, and the stare down and the chants going back and forth that lasted at least 3 minutes into the match of the dueling chants. It was great. It was good to see Aussie Open get that, right? On a stage like that. That was fun. I thought GOD did great. I thought Aussie Open did great. I would hope that this opens the door or helps open the door to future matches. I did not expect to see a tag title change here. I wouldn't have been shocked. Didn't expect it. But man, let me tell you, I was more into this match. And maybe it was the crowd. Maybe it was the crowd. Because you certainly don't hear this with most GOD matches. Especially in Japan. But I absolutely, from bell to bell, thought this match was, at the very least, very good. And to me, one of the best GOD matches. I would easily put that near the top. If it wasn't the best, it was near the fucking top. I had no problems with it. Loved it. And full marks to both teams.
Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of GOD in ring. I don't mind Tama online. He does make me laugh. But in terms of them guys in the ring, I tend to find their matches boring. But I was completely invested in this because of Aussie Open. The fact that them boys got the chance to be on this stage when I've seen them at little Rev Pro shows, you know, I was part of that chant shouting Aussie Open. That really, I think, made the match more special. And it was great. The crowd was going mental, and I think everyone in my section was really hoping, not that I believe anyone really thought it was going to happen, that Aussie Open could get the win. But I think it's a great first showing for them boys. I hope that they get the opportunity to come back, because I do think they're good, and I think they made GOD look good. I'm putting props on Aussie Open.
We had a question from Pleber who says, do you think that Aussie Open will continue to work NJPW in the future? And what other tag teams would you form/bring to fix the tag division's current state? I would just abolish the whole tag division at this point. But no, seriously, I would love to see Aussie Open in the World Tag League, and you would think that they would be likely to be in there after getting this sort of opportunity, right?
I would think of any team that's out there that is not a New Japan-based team. I think they would be top and front and center, right, after that performance. Look, I think if there were any doubts, and I don't think that there were, but if there were any doubts, I think, you know, this match helped remove any doubts that a team like this wouldn't easily fit into World Tag League. So I would say yes, an emphatic yes. They should slide right in very easily to the New Japan roster.
Sixth match was Never Openweight Championship match with Kenta defeating Tomohiro Ishii in 20 minutes 16 with a go to sleep. So Kenta becomes the 27th Never Openweight champion. So this started off exactly how you would hope a Kenta versus Ishii match to go, where you got scowling prick Kenta and strong, hard Stone Pitbull Ishii just beating the crap out of each other. But then halfway through the match, there was a German suplex spot where Kenta landed on his head, and he was pretty messed up afterwards, and that was really scary because from that point on, you could see that Kenta was out of it for a good couple of minutes, and then a lot of the big spots fell apart after that. Like there was a moment where it seemed that Brainbuster should have been reversed, but Kenta just crumpled, and he ended up winning after some God interference. But some people are saying that they should have ended the match. What are your thoughts on it, Damon?
I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't see a lot online about it, but I watched the match, and it did feel like something went astray. And I don't know if Kenta was actually hurt. I don't know if that's been confirmed. We probably won't hear shit because they are pretty tight-lipped when it comes to that kind of stuff. But it did feel like Kenta got his bell at the very least rung, right? And to add further evidence to that speculation, you're right. It did seem that the sloppiness kind of got raised. Now, there was one spot after where they're sitting they're sitting in the middle of the ring and they're slapping the shit out of each other. And I'm thinking to myself, is this the smartest thing to be doing? Right? It's just...
Yeah, the headbutts as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know there was one, it looked like Ishii might have been hitting the hand, but okay. But yeah, that too. I was just like, what? We can't do something else? Look, again, I don't know if he wound up being hurt or if he legitimately was hurt, but to me it felt like it was. And I'm going to disagree with you, Joel, for 1 second. Going into this match, the whole thing was about Kenta Shibata, right? That was the biggest takeaway into that match. But realize that going into this, Kenta was a tag team partner of Tomohiro Ishii and turned his back on him. The bell rings, Joel, and they lock up. I was like, why are you locking up? You're supposed to be fucking angry with each other. Ishii should be, Ishii brings him into the ropes, and he kind of pauses, and he kind of does the Okada tap on the shoulder, but then Kenta gives him a fucking right hand to the mush. But I was just like, if I'm Tomohiro Ishii, aren't you a little bit like, I'm not going in catch as catch can. I'm going in and I want to fucking beat the shit out of you. I just thought that was weird. And it stood out to me that a guy who just turned on you and we're going collar and elbow. I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, that's a good point. What did you think about having the Guerrillas of Destiny interfering towards the end?
I didn't like, look, I don't think there's any secret. Didn't like it. Did it play a factor in the finish? No, it was a couple minutes before, but yeah, I know what they're trying to do in the sense of we're going to turn Kenta into a giant heel, Bullet Club, blah, blah, blah. He's already there. I don't think that guy got more boos, or at least on it. Dan, you correct me if I'm wrong. He got just as many boos, we'll say, as Jay White, right? So if we're looking for a heel barometer, I think Kenta right now is in that scope, right? Of he's a fucking heel and people are recognizing it, right?
I'd say so. I'd say you was completely accurate with that. I mean, if you want my opinions on this match, halfway between this, obviously when there was the bad bump, I was currently being bumped outside by Mr. Craven. So I personally didn't see the finish, which is really bad. And when I did come back in, Tanahashi was already coming down to the ring. So I'm sorry, boys, I've let you down on that one.
Can I just say, how long was that interaction? Give me a time frame.
I want to say like 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes.
And it ruined your night.
Ruined my night is a strong, but it definitely played on my mind because I spoke to this guy and I wanted to report back to you boys. I wanted to tell you what went down. So yeah, sort of took me out the occasion, so to speak. That's why I'm extending the olive branch of free tickets next time New Japan are in London.
There we go. All right, we'll work on that.
Thank you.
We got a question from Angus. He says, is Kenta another Honma? His left arm did nothing and he looked to be having issues throughout the match. The match still delivered, though. That's a bit extreme. He got dropped on his head and that definitely affected the match. But in spite of that, Damon and Dan, I still think it was quite a good match.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Two guys in there that can fucking go. Give me a range. Let's get I can't give Dan because Dan, unfortunately, had other things on his mind. But give me some flakes. Give me some stars. Where you at on this? Just to get a general consensus of what we felt for this match.
3/4, 4, maybe around that range.
Right. On a bright sunny day, Joel just got laid, had a big breakfast. You're throwing 4?
Yeah, I think maybe if I was there live and not getting harassed by executives of the company, then I would have probably gone 4.
Okay, good point. That should be our every star rating. All right, but did you get harassed? Are you taking anything? Are you taking any stars all for harassment? No. Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat. We're on the same page. Yeah, I'm not going any higher than 4 though. That's for sure. Yeah.
Boys, you're giving it a 4, right?
Yeah.
You've got to say that's kind of impressive considering the fact that Kenta was clearly not 100% in that match. And I think I saw a tweet from him where he said, what a way to end the night. Like, he won and he ended up in the hospital. And then he said, like, thank you for booing me, London. So he definitely went to the hospital after the show by the looks of things. So to get a 4, I think that's impressive.
I do too. And I don't think we should sweep that under the rug either, right? Because, I mean, when did that bump occur? That was probably at least halfway through this match, right? They went at least another, what?
Yeah.
8 minutes?
He recovered amazingly from it because he looked like he was absolutely fucked afterwards. So
yeah,
let's give him props for that. And I just hope that he wasn't taken to an NHS hospital afterwards because otherwise he'd have been there all night probably queuing up.
We're taking care of the healthcare system there and everything. All right, everybody's getting the boots today.
It's Tory government. What do you want? This is what happens to the public sector.
Listen, I got a president who's going to fucking throw nukes at a hurricane. All right, what the fuck do you think I got going on over here? All right.
The show never got political when Colin was on it. All right, let's move on. 7th match was the British Heavyweight Championship match. Hiroshi Tanahashi defeating Zack Sabre Jr. in 17 minutes 39 with a high fly float. And Tanahashi wins the undisputed British Heavyweight Championship. One thing that stood out to me was Zack's beautiful tan. So he's obviously had some time away and is looking lovely and golden. I thought this was a really good match. I think they've got terrific chemistry. Tanahashi arguably better at the grappling stuff than Zack is. At least when he does it, it looks sort of more realistic, more sort of shoot-style grappling. And I think that's an underrated part of Tanahashi's game. Not sure I needed to see this match 5 times within like 6 months, but this was still good.
There's still more leftovers, Joel. There's still more in the fridge if you want to dig in, from what I understand.
It's like a Christmas, isn't it? When you've got turkey for like a fortnight afterwards, and you're like, oh Jesus fuck, more turkey, please, no, enough.
Yep.
I liked it the first time, but come on.
Well, there's a couple of sandwiches sitting in there waiting for you, from what I understand. I loved it. I love but that being said, it's a fucking good sandwich, man. I love this match. I love these two together. I could watch them all the time, and it feels like we have and will. I was shocked by the title change. That took me a second to digest, because I did not think that was happening when he was climbing those ropes for that high fly flow. I'm thinking, all right, knees up, and those knees up never came. And I think even the crowd.
It was really decisive, wasn't it? You had like sling blade, dragon suplex, high fly flow, bang. There was no sort of back and forth. It just was like, yeah, Tanahashi's the better guy here.
Yep. I mean, that Rev Pro title. I know people are I won't say that they're down on Rev Pro. I don't think that's are people aren't down on Rev Pro, Dan, are they?
No, man, I wouldn't say so. I mean, Stephen and Alan, they go to nearly every show, I'd say, and it's always packed out. People seem to love it. They've got their fan favourites. I've not seen people shit on it. I mean, I suppose over here you've got the idiots from WWE that are, trying to ruin the scene over here, and with Progress Wrestling and stuff like that. But Rev Pro, to me, still is up there, and people seem to like it.
Right. I mean, that's that.
I heard mixed stuff about Summer Sizzler. I ran a poll actually on the Super J Cast Twitter asking what did people think of the Summer Sizzler show overall, because I heard some interesting things about the main event. A lot of like shenanigans and ref bumps and authority figure interference during it. So let me just try and find the poll where I was asking about it. So 42% said thumbs up, 39% said thumbs in the middle, 19% said thumbs down. So there were definitely some conflicting takes on the quality of the Summer Sizzler show.
At the risk of getting myself shot as a first-time guest on this podcast, if you've got to understand, there's probably a high percentage of people that have gone to that are definitely more New Japan-esque fans. So I can see why they would be pissed about that match. But the two boys that I know that went completely saw it differently, said that overall the show was fantastic. So I do think maybe Rev Pro should have put their hat on and gone, hang on a minute, like we're probably going to get a lot of New Japan fans in at this show. So let's maybe calm that down a bit. But overall, every Rev Pro show that I've been to has been fantastic, and I've loved it.
It's been a while since I've been over there, but again, the times that I've seen the Rev Pro shows, I thought they've been fun. Some of the most fun pro wrestling shows I've been to. So good. I get worried about that, the general temperature and the general tone. But anyway, my original point was that British heavyweight title. They got some. There ain't no BC level people carrying that title around, right? They got some big names that they got carrying that title. So good for them. Good for Rev Pro. Keep that going. Question for me: do you think Tanahashi holds that title onto Wrestle Kingdom?
Yeah, we actually received a similar question. Bork says, do you think Tana's title win changes his road to Wrestle Kingdom? Also, Zach has had a forgettable year. What do you think plans are for him? Now, what I thought was going to happen would be that Tanahashi wins it and keeps it for Wrestle Kingdom, and then your Wrestle Kingdom Rev Pro title match is Tanahashi versus Ospreay, having a rematch from the G1 where maybe Ospreay wins the title back from him. But now we are getting an immediate rematch between Tanahashi and ZSJ. It's a bit more murky, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems very quick. So again, when we were talking about that sandwich that's still in the refrigerator, we're getting that in just a handful of weeks, right? Like soon. Right? So maybe they flip it back as quickly as that. So, Joel, what show is that? Do we know which show that headlines?
Yeah, it's one of the Destruction show. Let me check so I can say exactly. We will discuss this later. We'll be breaking down all the big matches that were announced today. But it will be Destruction in Beppu. Okay.
Yeah, and that's, right around the corner, time-wise. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they drop it back and we go from there. But needless to say, I think it helped pop the crowd. I think the crowd didn't expect it. It looked like from the reaction there, Dan, that the crowd was kind of in shock that it happened, and then it was a celebratory thing. But yeah, I love the match. I love these two working together. I have a small problem with the idea of again, but it's these two guys that I really enjoy watching together. So I'm willing to have another sandwich.
All right, Dan, do you want to chip in on how it was for you?
No, Damon pretty much covered it all. I can't believe that Zach lost. But then obviously having Tanahashi have that belt, what that sort of means for Rev Pro, and then the crowd loved it. So yeah, I was still on my come down at that point, boys. But overall, listen, what's not to like? I know that they've done it a lot, but these guys are great. I love both of them, so I could watch them again. I'm not going to complain. It was good.
Main event was IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. Kazuchika Okada successfully defending against Minoru Suzuki in 33 minutes 25 with a Rainmaker, and Okada retains the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Another classic match between these two guys. We got some questions about the reception, particularly towards Suzuki. So Chris says, in the main event, did the crowd reactions properly show on TV? Everyone was desperate for Suzuki to win. Steel O'Neill says, would a reception like Suzuki's change New Japan's mind about putting the big strap on him / someone? Also, which was the best crowd in New Japan history? And Jeremy says, for Dan, is Minoru Suzuki God in the UK? Is Tanahashi more popular than Boris Johnson? So I'm going to go straight to Dan here and just tell us what it was like as both of these wrestlers made their entrances.
Big, humongous. Words escape me. Both are so over. Suzuki is a god in England. He definitely is a god. At Rev Pro shows, I've the same reaction when he comes out. People love him. I think people are genuinely terrified of him as well. Like, yes, we know it's professional wrestling, but that guy is legitimately scary. And I was one of the people in attendance that wanted him to win. No, full well that ain't going to happen. But I think the roof would have come off the place if Suzuki had got the pin. Yeah, what was the other question in regards to that knobhead Boris?
Tanahashi or Boris Johnson?
Oh, Tanahashi all day long, mate. Like, anything is better than Boris Johnson. Jesus. Actually, during the Zack Sabre match, there was quite a few heckles of Boris basically being a cuck. But, yes, Okada, Suzuki, great match. I wanted it to go on forever because I just love both of these guys. But really, for me, I think the star in that match for the crowd and for me personally is Suzuki. I just think in the UK he is so over. I know that doesn't change his position in New Japan, but it just shows that they've put him in the main event over here because they must know how much the British crowd, the UK crowd, absolutely love him. But it was a great match, and obviously then we had the fun stuff happening at the end.
Damien, what do you think of it?
Great match, right? Congratulations, London. You got yourself a classic New Japan Pro Wrestling main event. Suzuki, over 50, being able to perform at that level is pretty amazing, right? And yes, great, he's in shape. And 50, right? I can't get out of bed and I'm not 50, right? Okada, again, another fantastic performance. Would I put this at the top of my list of Okada Suzuki matches? I would confidently put it somewhere in the upper middle of the pack. Absolutely. I like the drama of it. I loved. And I'm usually, I like this spot. I'm okay with this spot. But for whatever reason, this time it really connected with me. Specifically, Okada's selling of it was the elbow exchange. One, Okada, his selling, where he goes rubber-legged, and his legs twist. Amazing. Love it. And then Suzuki, when he fires in those fucking elbows and those forearms, and everybody's quiet in the building, and he just tees off, is a thing of beauty. It's art. It's like listening to fucking, I don't know, if Jimi Hendrix were alive, right? It's musical, right? I got to be honest, there was one person like in the crowd shot, and they were delivering those shots back and forth. There's one person right on the aisle. I think she was wearing like a tan sweater or jumper, and I'm just watching facial reactions of the shots going in, and this person losing their mind, right? And that made me enjoy it even more. I thought it was a great match. I'm in the 4s for this. Maybe not 4.5, but I'm in the 4s. Thought it was great, and again, I thought it delivered to the live crowd, and I thought it delivered to everybody at home. And I don't think anybody is upset with a match like this. Great job by both guys.
Yeah, it was everything you want, really, and the best that they could have done, given the fact that there wasn't really much drama in the result of the match, because Suzuki wasn't going to win that. So my favourite Okada Suzuki match was the G1 27 match, the one that went to a 30-minute time limit draw, because I thought that was just outstanding and some real drama in there. Because again, in the G1, it's always more exciting because you don't know who's going to win. But this one, it was a foregone conclusion, but it was still an absolutely terrific match. Damien, to the question, which was the best crowd in New Japan history? Off the top of your head, can you think of any crowds that really stood out to you?
Well, I mean, you can always go with the pillow tossers, right? G1, the finals. That's got to go down in history as one of the most ravenous pro wrestling crowds in history. So that's got to be top of the list. I'm just thinking of crowd reaction and crowds going berserker. There's one I'll tell you what, the textbook for crowd going berserk, and I think you mentioned it recently, Joel, was that tag match. It was an all Japan tag match, and it was, who was it? Was it like Crawford and Furness against Kenta Kobashi and somebody, was it?
Kikuchi, I think.
Yeah, you might be. Yeah, that crowd was just molten red hot, going crazy for everything. So it's not really a New Japan crowd. Like I said, if I'm thinking of like the most crazy, go crazy kind of crowd, that might be one of them. The G1 pillow tossers might be the one.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that match, just stop whatever you're doing and go and watch it, and you can thank us later. So yeah, Kobashi and Kikuchi versus Furness and Crawford in May 25th, 1992. It's on YouTube. And yeah, that crowd are just living and dying by every single move in that match. Like, leaping out of their seats. Like, they were behaving like a crowd might behave during like a football cup final. It's just unbelievable. You don't get crowds like that anymore in wrestling.
Yeah, and especially like a Japanese crowd, right? Who, always the book on them is, the reserve, and they clap when things happen. But they were going batshit crazy. Like there was two guys that were just losing their shit, right? So yeah, go out of your way to watch it just for the crowd. The match is great, don't get me wrong, but the crowd makes it even 10 times better.
Just thinking of other stuff that I've seen off the top of my head. The famous Ishii Shibata match from G1 23. That had some great reactions. Maybe the Rainmaker shock when Okada won the title at New Beginning. There was a Hashimoto versus Takada match at the Tokyo Dome that had a very hot crowd for it. So, and that time when Ishii beat Tanahashi when he used a screwdriver, that was a big one as well. So, those are some that come to mind there. A question from Paul, who says, it was great to meet Editor Dan briefly. What was his favourite match of the night?
Well, the main event, clearly. How could that not be my favourite match of the night? It was the best match of the night. Yeah, there you go. And by the way, nice to meet, it was Paul, wasn't it? Nice to meet Paul as well. He actually didn't buy me a beer, so next time you owe me one. Just throwing that
How
out there.
could you? All this great content we're putting out for free and Dan's editing. He didn't buy the man a beer. Shocking. Okay, so this is a guy called Nicholas who slid into the DMs with a story. So he says, long story short, I stayed at the same hotel as most of the roster except for Suzuki-gun, Okada, Tanahashi, and Ibushi. Everyone else stayed at my hotel. Last night, me and my mates were drinking with the Young Lions and Yujiro until 4 a.m. They're really good at chugging Jaegers. Got pictures with nearly everybody, but I always made sure to leave them alone because it's their downtime here. Anyway, at breakfast, Hikuleo, Jay White, Tama, and Tangaloa were sitting at their own table when Kenta walked in, and he just completely ignored them. Didn't say hi, just sat down on his own. And another one, we were asking if we could take a group photo with Bullet Club, but Umino and Narita were there with us as well. Jado started screaming, photo, only Bullet Club, no Young Lions. You've got to appreciate that amount of kayfabe keeping. And I love hearing stories like that, Damon.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're respectful of privacy and their time, even though we're talking about them on the show. I mean, good stories like that make people's. I would, they're going to remember that for the rest of their lives, right? Just that one night. So good on them. I'm glad everybody had a good time.
Well, we were coming back from Five Guys after the show, and we're just walking through Stratford Shopping Centre, and Alan turns around and goes, "It's Red Shoes! It's Red Shoes!" So I'm like, what? We stop, and apparently, obviously Red Shoes did stop because he bloody got called Red Shoes, for Christ's sake. But Jay White was there as well, and I forget who else was there, but they just walked off to, I believe they were going to Nando's, but Red Shoes was nice enough to stand there and let me snap a photo, and then we let him go and eat. But I don't know if that's respectful, probably not, in all fairness, but anyway, that happened.
Nice. Yeah, I know Jay White, he likes to stay in character a lot. I remember before Tokyo Dome, him and Tanahashi, we saw him at Pepper Lunch. It was me, Eric, Mackie, and Fumi. And Fumi loves it, getting the pictures. He loves getting the fucking... This is the guy that goes to Tokyo Dome Hotel at 6 o'clock in the morning. And he drags Mackie along. Mackie's the designated...
And he's got the IWGP heavyweight title replica belt with him, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think it's legit, isn't it? So he likes to get the pictures. So, but like he went up to Jay White, and Jay was like, "Nah, no pictures." So that's fine. No biggie. Everybody was respectful of everybody's time. But yeah, Jay likes to stay in character. That's for sure.
All right, well, that was Royal Quest. Dan, are you going to stick around for the rest of the show, or are we letting you get out of here?
Well, listen, guys, thank you once again for having me on. I really do appreciate it. Please try not to mess anything up between now and the end. I'd like a simple edit. And no, it's been good, guys. Thank you for letting me come on. I really do appreciate it.
Dan, it is
Give
always...
us your plugs.
Yeah, give us your plugs, Dan.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you reminded me. So, for those that don't know, or those that do, I'm in a band. It's called Escape the Box. You can follow us on Twitter, which is Escape the Box UK. We do episodes on YouTube of basically the life of being in a band every Friday, 2000 hours UK time. And this coming Friday, Damon is in the episode. So go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Escape the Box UK, and just have a watch, because Damon's got a very special part in this show, and I think you should all enjoy it. So once again, guys, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to maybe coming on again sometime soon.
Dan, it's absolutely our pleasure. Again, all the hard work that you do for this show, we truly appreciate it, and I'm glad that you were. I feel bad that you had a little bit of a bumpy experience, but hopefully we'll get that all ironed out. And again, you're the best. We love you, and it's awesome that you're on the show. And thanks for all your hard work, man.
Cheers, boys. Have a good one.
All right, well, let's get into the news portion of the show. This is more of a non-news thing, Damon, but a few people, myself included, got a bit overexcited about a profile update from the New Japan roster page, where the Shibata profile, which has always been there, it's never been taken down, had a little update and some words about, is Shibata going to be getting revenge on Bullet Club? And a lot of people, myself included, got carried away and thought, oh, maybe that's teasing a return or something. Knowing full well that the people who are writing that stuff are in no way clued in on booking plans. So just wanted to mention that, because I did see a few people asking about it on Reddit, why those tweets disappeared. It's just a non-story, isn't it, Damon?
Yeah, it did. Unfortunately, it did turn into a bit of a non-story. So, I mean, I think it was more of a decision of there's no need to fuel this fire, because there's no fire. We just have. And the fuel that we had was basically orange juice. Right? There's really nothing there. So yeah, instead of just having that out there trying to smolder, we just said, man, we'll just fucking take it down. And then I think a lot of other people followed suit. So that's good. That's fine. But again, we got no problem if we need to be corrected, or if we need to be pointed in a direction. We got no problem with that.
Another thing that came up from Lucha Blog, around 54 minutes of Lucha TV's video podcast, Miguel Reducindo said Kawato-san returned to Japan. Kawato-san had a health issue and went home to get better. So there's no details on what the health issue is, or when/if he'll return to Mexico, but hoping everything is okay for Kawato, because it's been a long time and a lot of people are hoping to see him come back home soon.
Yeah, I do hope it's not a health-related issue. I personally have not heard anything, and I don't think Joel has as well. But I mean, we were led to believe that his return was coming right around the corner, or at least in a New Japan ring was coming around the corner. So yeah, I hope everything is hunky dory, and if it's a medical thing, that it gets sorted out. But we have not heard anything plus or minus when it comes to that.
Now, this is a topic we'd speculated about before, which is next year's G1 Climax, which, of course, is going to be running alongside the Olympics, which is coming to Tokyo in 2020. So the word on the street it was originally reported by Dave Meltzer, something we followed up, does apparently seem to be true, that the G1 Climax is going to be moved to the autumn. So, Damon, what are your feelings on this?
Personally, I like it, and I'll tell you why. The one reason why I don't think I could ever go back to Tokyo during normal G1 is the unbelievable heat. Like, it was just uncomfortable. Like, you couldn't do things. I couldn't do things other than take a shower, go to a show, come back, and sit in air conditioning. It was brutal. if it's in fall, which everybody says is like the best time of the year weather-wise, I don't know. That I might have to pull a Frazier and and hit a couple G1s if I have the money. I don't have the money, but yeah, it does make it a little bit more sexy sounding for me. But yeah, I know that there's a lot of logistical issues when it comes to booking buildings, because not only is it the Olympics, Joel, but you said the Paralympics as well.
Yes, that'll be immediately afterwards.
Right. So that's, I mean, look, that is a big city. And just in a normal, like even during what's considered a holiday season, that January 4th area, right? New Year's, all that. That's a big stay-at-home family kind of thing over there, right, Joel? It's still busy as fuck. You know what I mean? Subways are still packed. Trains are still packed. I cannot imagine the infrastructure, the traffic, the congestion, and this is an efficient city, mind you, but still the absolute stress on their public transit system will be unbelievable during the Olympics. So they had to move it. I mean, buildings and getting things from one place to another, and security is going to be heightened just because it is the Olympics. There's a lot that goes into it, and trust me, booking G1, as much as we love it, is probably really low on that fucking pecking order. I think it's a smart move to move it.
Yeah, as an international school teacher, I get the first half of the G1 during my holidays, but then the tail end of it when I'm back to school. So it's never been possible for me to go out there for the finals. But if the finals do line up with my October break, then you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to be there, even if I might have extra responsibilities at that time. I don't care, Damon. If it's during the October break and I've got a chance to go to Budokan, I will be there by hook or by crook. So again, personally, I'm excited about the prospect. So hopefully we get some good news on the dates for that.
Confirmed Super J Cup at G1. Confirmed.
Yeah. I don't want to get accosted for. I'm just going to leave that one. Right, we got the return of the Young Lion Cup, and we have the people that have been announced for that: Shota Umino, Ren Narita, Yota Tsuji, Yuya Uemura, Clark Connors, Carl Fredericks, Alex Coughlin, and Michael Richards of the Fale Dojo. So that's very exciting. We're going to be seeing those matches throughout September. And some interesting thoughts on this. I was discussing this with a friend of the show, Jojo Remy, who said that seems like the Japanese Young Lions are each only getting one Korakuen match, but each of the LA/Fale guys are getting two. So Fredericks and Connors are getting each other, and Narita, Umino respectively in Korakuen, which bodes well for them to make an even stronger impression. So you can rest assured that is a very deliberate decision there. And we're going to get the final round of matches for that on the 22nd of September at Destruction in Kobe. And the match that stands out on that date is Carl Fredericks versus Shota Umino. So it seems likely that the winner of that match will be the winner of the Young Lion Cup. Do you agree?
Yeah, I did see that, and I thought that's like a sore thumb, right? You excited for this?
Yeah, I am. Even though the last one that they did was cursed, Kitamura won it. I mean, that whole cohort from the dojo seems to be a bit bad luck following them around, doesn't there? So we've got Kawato, no idea where Oka is either. Kitamura with his mystery bicycle leg crushing lie situation. Kanemitsu, and who's the other fella? Tetsuya Yagi, who is forced to retire as well. So I'm hoping that this cohort have better luck. But yeah, I am excited by it.
I am too. I think this is one of the cool little dynamics that they had during G1 was always those multi-man tags, the LA Dojo versus the Tokyo Dojo. I like it. I think it's going to be fun. Yeah, but I think the handwriting's on the wall with that final match, which I think will be good. I'm excited for it. I'm going to go so far as to say I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think we're going to be sick of seeing a Young Lions match, because I think as we progress in this tournament, I think we're going to see people grow, and we're going to see people kind of expand what they are allowed to do in a pro wrestling ring. So I don't think it's all going to be Boston Crabs, right? And I think as we move along in the tournament, you'll see that growth really shine. So nope. And like I said, if people were to circle 2 people on that roster that they think are going to be next level stars, I think that's a good start right there. Let me ask you this: Henare, again, Finley. Do you think there are people that are looking in the rearview mirror like, oh shit, I'm going to get lapped? That's the worst part about this, is that I think that there are people looking in their rearview mirrors thinking to themselves, I'm about ready to get lapped.
Yeah, I know this is something that we find ourselves saying with every class of Dojo Young Lions, but this class does seem very special. And definitely, if you are one of those names mentioned, it would only be natural that you are looking over your shoulder at guys like Narita, who just knocked it out of the park, I thought, during Best of the Super Juniors. Umino, who looks like he's got future star written all over him. Even a guy like Clark Connors now looking, he's oozing star power and charisma. I think Uemura's great. I think Tsuji's got a lot of upside. He looks like he could be a big powerhouse bully heel at some point in the future. So definitely reason to be worried if you are one of those guys at the bottom of the roster, because yeah, they're coming for you.
Pro wrestling. Here's the thing: we always talk about that, and I think a lot of people in the wrestling world talk about that. That competition breeds greatness, right? So, people are going to make the most of their opportunities if and when they get them. That's one thing we should be asking about, though. I'd like to get an update on David Finley and what his status is with that shoulder. I'd like to see what the plans are for him coming back. Speaking of
and El Desperado.
And El Desperado, there's another one too. Yeah, he's not on this tour, is he?
No, he's not.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's good that the company is healthy enough in the sense that they have plenty of bodies they can use when people get hurt, and they can take all the time that they need. My fear is that if you take the time that you need, do you then lose your spot? And how difficult is it for you to get back in the mix? I'm sure that varies by different people at the level that you are in. But, that is... But let's be truthful. That's always been the concern for pro wrestlers, right? Because you get hurt, you take time off, you're out of the mix. And that's why, I got to keep moving. I got to keep going. I'm going to take this to kind of get me through this match. I'm going to take this because I took this to get me the sleep. I'm going to take this because I'm sleepy from what I took to help me get through. And it's that vicious fucking cycle that we worry about in pro wrestling a lot, right? So that does kind of feed that monster, doesn't it, Joel? It does kind of feed that monster a little bit. So hopefully that's not the case here.
Little note for attendance: New Japan Pro Wrestling announced an official attendance of 2,512 fans for the final event of the Super J Cup 2019 in the Walter Pyramid in Long Beach. So the 2 prior shows in the same venue did 4,372. That was in March 2018. And 3,007 fans in September 2018. So that 3,007 last time had Kenny Omega in the main event. It had the Young Bucks. It had Cody in a US title match. So for this Super J Cup, they've done 500 fewer. With the tournament, no announced matches beforehand. I think that's decent, Damon.
I do too. Again, we're not going to complain over a handful of tickets like I'm prone to do. I will say that, and again, we haven't seen the shows, so we'll reserve judgment on how it looks. From still photos that I've seen, it did. Here's the problem. It's those fucking yellow seats in that building that just stand out like a sore thumb. Like, you see all the empty seats because they stick out like a sore thumb. But yes, I again, let's hold off on the aesthetics of how it looked. I think numbers-wise, I can't think that anybody's complaining. I believe, and again, I haven't had it confirmed. We have not had it confirmed that this was a profitable venture. I would assume that it was, but Yeah, I mean, look, you like to see asses in seats, right? You like to see a crowd like you had at Royal Quest, right? I think it's a different show and a different, different people being brought in. And that last show, there's no one, they're announcing the show at what, 2 o'clock in the morning, right? It's hard to do. I get all the issues. I like a full building. I just like the way it looks. So we'll see how it goes when they release the show, which should be in the next couple of days, I would think.
I don't want to talk about spoilers for the Super J Cup, but I don't know how much you know, Damon, but is this a tournament that you are excited to watch when it comes out on World?
Certain matches, maybe, yeah. I'll be truthful. How are we going to do a show review on a show that happened a good solid month ago? You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's going to be, I don't know. I think the fruit has wilted off the vine, if you will. Am I excited? No, I mean, look, we got Destruction right around the corner. We got all those shows. It's I know the results, so it's kind of like, okay, dude, maybe I cherry picked certain matches just to see, but I can't say I'm excited. This will be, it's a rainy Saturday. I got nothing to do. Let me pop it on kind of thing. Like, I don't think the instant it's online, I'm running to my TV to pop it on. Let's put it that way.
Dread Pirate Roberts says on the Discord, due to the tragedy of Docky's recent death, do you think it would be appropriate to name the JCast year-end awards the Dockies in his honour? And his is capitalised there. David, have you seen this? I sent it to the our WhatsApp group, a tweet with the footage of the untimely death of Docky.
God, I don't know. Was this like on World Star? Oh, here's Doki whoa! Oh, Jesus Christ! Wow. Doki does a dive, kids, through the middle ropes, a suicida, tope suicida, and whoever was supposed to catch him did the old ole, did the old whiffaroo, and he goes headfirst into, was it a chair? Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, he wipes out. Rob Viper, that's Rob Viper's Twitter account if you want to see that.
I've just retweeted it, so if you go back in the Twitter history, you should be able to see it.
Good job by you.
Yeah, the good news is that he is absolutely fine, and he's back with New Japan, and he's going to be a part of this upcoming Destruction tour. So very excited to see him back. Unfortunately, no Taichi, but let's touch on some of the key matches that we have coming up on this. So starting off with Destruction in Beppu. Top matches are Evil and Naito versus Chase Owens and Jay White. A special tag match with Yoshihashi and Ishii versus Guerrillas of Destiny. No title on the line, but you think maybe that's going to set up something down the line if Ishii and Yoshihashi get a win. And then the main event, British Heavyweight Championship match for the 5th time this year, 5th time since March, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr. So quick thoughts on that, Damon?
Again, I said it before and kind of alluded to it. It's another sandwich in the fridge, right? In the icebox. You want another turkey sandwich? It's good turkey. It's good turkey. Good bread. Good toppings, but it's another one, right?
Well, you must be thinking that they're sort of looking at each other backstage like, oh, what the fuck are we going to do this time? Right? We're running out of stuff to do.
Right. I say they just do a fucking death match at this point, right? They just, like, wouldn't it be great? They just were just like, fuck it, we got nothing.
Tanahashi comes down with a kendo stick.
right, barbed wire bat. right. Yeah,
Exploding barbed wire death match.
Right.
ZSJ in his entrance. He's sitting down, smoking a fag on the ramp.
right. Fans throwing garbage on him. They are incredible pro wrestlers, but yeah, they got to be looking at each other like, what else do we got in the can? What haven't we done? That's amazing. Look, I'm gonna tell an Uncle Damon story, right? Back in the day, Joel, when Crockett used to run the NWA in 86, 87, all that, we had, I kid you not, and I don't think I'm exaggerating with this number, 2 years of monthly shows where Philadelphia had some version of Dusty Rhodes versus Tully Blanchard. Every fucking month, you would have Dusty Rhodes versus Tully Blanchard for what felt like 2 fucking years. You don't know samesies like I know samesies. It was madness. But here's the thing: every match was had everybody juiced up, pumped up, and they always threw different stipulations. It'd be a bull rope match, or it'd be a coal miner's glove match. It'd be a fucking finger in the ass match, whatever, right? But they did that for 2 goddamn years. Now, in 2019, do I expect that in my pro wrestling? Look, again, I like them. I like them together. I think they put on great matches. Even I'm kind of like, oh, this is, again, right? Whew, jeez. It'll be good, but yeah, I mean, you're testing the patience of a lot of people going to the banquet. The 5th time this year. Joel, it's only September, right? I mean, jeez Louise. All right, listen, when we do this, can we put this one in the fucking bed? Are we done with this finally after this, Joel? Is this the end of the road for this?
Yeah, can we have a special stipulation? Like, not a loser leaves town, but loser leaves Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tanahashi matches.
Yeah, please. Good Lord. Because, again, you're burning out what essentially is something really good, right? Like, the last thing that they would want is something to be really good that people don't want to see, right? Right? That I mean, if it's shit, people can be like, it's shit. I don't want to see this fucking thing again, blah, blah. Like, Evil and Sonata versus G.O.D., right? Nobody wants to see that anymore. Because why? It's really not that great. It borders on okay and good, but great? No. Well, now we're getting into modes where it's, all right, this is great, but I'm sick of it. Again, enough with the fucking turkey sandwiches, please. We're done. Last one.
For Destruction in Kagoshima, we have Evil and Naito versus Yujiro Jay White. We have IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship match, a rematch from Royal Quest with Birds of Prey, Robbie Eagles and Will Ospreay versus El Fantasma and Taiji Ishimori, which I'm excited for. And then the main event, IWGP Heavyweight Championship Right to Challenge contract match between Kota Ibushi versus Kenta. Now, that is a really interesting one and a bit of a weird one because I would have protected Kenta until Wrestle Kingdom because I'm expecting we get a Kenta Never match, and I thought the play would be to have him unbeaten, pick up the title and just go through all the challenges on the way to the Tokyo Dome. So it seems like he's going to pick up a loss here, so it's a bit of an odd decision, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. And it feels like they're just doing that because Kenta has the win over Kota, and Kenta can challenge, and it makes sense from a booking perspective. Sure, absolutely, no doubt. Yeah, you would think. Are you certain in your heart, in your mind, Kenta loses here?
Yeah, I don't see why you would put Kenta in this Bullet Club Shibata LA Dojo story and have him win the Never title and then also have him win the IWGP title opportunity. That would make sense to me.
Do you think it's okay he takes the loss?
Well, he has to because he's not going to win, is he? I think it was the wrong choice personally, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
Okay. Yeah, I would prefer him not taking a loss here, but I understand, again, from the idea of him getting a win in G1. Who else did Ibushi lose to in G1? Do you remember? Not to put you on the spot.
It was Evil.
Wouldn't Evil be a better pick for this? Evil could take a loss.
Yeah, unless they're saving that one for King of Pro Wrestling.
Right. Does he have to defend this fucking briefcase on both shows?
I don't know. It seems that this Destruction show things are spread a bit thinly. because there's
really
no
does.
IWGP Championship match, and there's not a great deal to get excited about here, is there, between the 3 shows?
I mean, they're good shows, but I mean, I can't tell you that I'm sitting here doing cartwheels over these. They're good shows. There's matches that seem very sexy. I don't know if I'm, again, doing cartwheels. I don't know. I just think the Kenta match is a little bit weird. Just for the reasons that we talked about. I don't know if Kenta is a guy that I want to have pick up a loss in this situation.
What about the Junior Tag Team Championship match? Do you think we're going to get 2-belt Billy?
I would have zero problem with it. Zero problem with it. I don't think we will, though. But I would have zero problem, and I'm excited for the match because, again, I think what we saw in Royal Quest was just a taste of what we could expect in a title defense, bigger stage kind of thing. I love the tag team. I love the Ospreay Eagles tag team. I really do. There's something about it. It's got some kind of little, lot of chemistry and a lot of, it feels right. So I would have no problem with them doing it, but I don't think they will.
And then Destruction in Kobe, top 3 matches. We got Shoyo and Okada versus Bushi Evil Sanada. We have a special singles match for no reason, but I'm here for it. Hiroki Goto versus Shingo Takagi. And the main event is the IWGP Intercontinental Championship match. Tetsuya Naito versus Jay White. What are your thoughts on that one? Because that one is quite tricky to predict.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, again, if we're trying to fill the narrative of big tournament time come Wrestle Kingdom, what do you think would be a better route to go? Jay picking up the title or Naito having that title?
Well, here's the thing. If we are going with this mini tournament gimmick, then if Jay White loses, he has got no claim to be in that mix.
Correct.
So to me, it makes sense for Jay White to win, and then Naito claims his IC title rematch, which I don't like, the automatic rematch clause, because that's very WWE-ish. But if I had to pick, I think Jay White. Yeah, I think Jay White wins.
Okay.
And both of them end up in the picture at Wrestle Kingdom.
What if they don't? What if this is just us speculating and trying to connect dots and all that stuff? And what if Jay White...
Extremely likely, for the records.
Right. And Jay White pins Naito for that title. Is that just going to feed the beast and add more logs to the fire?
No, I'm saying that Jay White will pin Naito. So I think that's going to happen. I think he wins the IC title, and then we still go ahead with a mini tournament thing. I'm saying that if Jay White loses, then to me, he's out of the Wrestle Kingdom pitch completely. I don't know, maybe he segues into a rematch with Juice Robinson for the US title at Wrestle Kingdom or something like that, because I think in order for the tournament thing to happen, it's got to be a Jay White win.
Right. Okay, fine. But if the Jay White win happens and this tournament thing doesn't happen, right? Again, it does kind of play. It does kind of push you in that direction that would happen. But let's just say that we
also, sorry, this is pertinent to the discussion. I forgot to mention that at the Super J Cup, Jay White grabbed the IC title after his tag match with Naito and declared it was his destiny to be the first ever double champion. So now we have had Ibushi, Naito, and White all talking about becoming double champion. So sorry to interrupt, but I thought that was important.
That is important. All right, look, I think where there's smoke, there's fire, right? You don't have 3 separate people talking about double champion unless we're doing double champion shit, right? 3 different people on 3 different occasions have teased it, have dropped it, have mentioned it, right? That seems weird to have that happen and not go through with that. Am I wrong in that, Joel?
No, I mean, I thought that was going to be the case when Naito started talking about it. Then when Ibushi mentioned it as well, I thought, okay, it's a lock. And then now that Jay White said it, it's a double lock. I don't know how much more secure you could get than a lock, but yeah,
we've got a lot of locks.
Sure it's happening.
We got padlocks. We've got combo locks. Yeah, Scotch tape. We got it all.
It's a chastity belt at this point. Eh?
right.
And
right.
it's coming off on January the 5th.
Yep. And we're
spraying
fucking.
all over the East Tokyo Dome.
And we are fucking in Tokyo. All right. Yeah, it does look. I know we're speculating twats, but it does feel that way. So all right, so Jay wins this. Yeah, I'm riding in that Jay White bus of him picking up that title. Just again because he can't lose, right? He can't lose this match and be in the mix, or they got some wheeling and dealing they got to fucking pull. So yeah, so again, it does make sense to us. How about the uninformed, we'll call them, the uninformed, maybe non-listeners of this fine podcast, Naito LIJ fan? Do you think they lose their shit when Naito drops this title? Or are they going to see the bigger picture? Or can they see the bigger picture?
I think the kind of people who would lose their shit on Twitter are the kind of people who are clued up and would understand the significance of Naito losing.
Okay. So we're not going to have mini riots online. We're going to be all right?
I don't think so, but I hope there will be. It's always fun when that happens.
It sure is. All right. There you go. Give me a scale of 1 to 10, your excitement for that show.
I'm excited about the main event because it was really good in the G1 block finals, and Goto versus Shingo was also great during the G1. So I'd say a solid 7 out of 10 for Destruction in Kobe. Oh, and also that will have the Young Lions
Tourney,
the block finals for that. So 7.5. Gonna bump it up there.
All right. No verbal harassment downgrades. You good? You're good with your.
I don't know. There's a lot of podcasting time between now and then. Who knows what we're going to say?
Really? Who knows what's going to happen? Craziness. Can we off the record? Can we talk about this for 1 second with Dan not here, live on our podcast with thousands upon thousands of downloads?
Okay, so when you say off the record, do you mean we're removing this later, or we're just...
No. We're talking about it right now. It is what it is. I got to be honest with you. My head kind of can't wrap around it, to be honest with you. I'm having difficulty with what Dan described. Like, what? One, again, we did say it. How, of all the people that you run into, Dan, you run into him, right? And then... kind of how it went down. I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of almost a little bit like, I kind of feel like Dan post incident.
It's like a fever dream, isn't it? You sort of really wake up the next day, you'd be like, I just the strangest dream that Dan was having a cigarette outside the copper box and then ran into Michael Craven, who got annoyed with him about the Super J cast. And you'd be like, whoa, what have you been eating? That's crazy.
I swear, that's been my whole weekend. Like I just been like in a state of like what?
Because I looked at that on my phone about 5 a.m. I couldn't go back to sleep after that because it was just too weird.
Right, it was just odd. So it's just odd. All right, listen. I hope it gets sorted out. Right, we'll get to sort it out. Right, but again,
we're nice guys. Come on, we're not out here to make trouble for anyone.
Certainly not.
We've been in situations where we might have inadvertently done so, and people have a quiet word in the ear. Hey, you might want to do such and such because otherwise this might happen. We've said, yeah, fair enough,
right.
And we've taken steps to address that. So, we're not out here to upset people, are we, Damon?
That's you know me as well as anybody, right? You. I think in the 2 years that we have communicated, you know me. Just the last thing I want. You know what I mean? Like I hate this feeling of I hate it. I don't like it at all. So I would say we would do things to look. If you don't like us, you don't like us. I don't give a shit. But like I don't want people to think that we're being vindictive, because that is not our objective in any way, shape, or form, right? So, all right, there we go. I just need to get that off my chest.
Okay, we also have a few matches announced for King of Pro Wrestling. We have an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match with Will Ospreay against El Phantasmo. We have an IWGP US Heavyweight Championship no disqualification match, John Moxley versus Juice Robinson. And we have our IWGP Heavyweight Championship match with Kazuchika Okada versus Sanada. Ospreay versus ELP singles match. I don't know about that. I'm not. The pants are not down for that, Damon. I have to admit. I think I was lower than most people on their best of the Super Juniors match. I think they're, again, not giving out any spoilers because I don't know off the top of my head, but there's a fair chance I might be seeing that match in the Super J Cup, and I don't know if I want to see it again here. So those are my thoughts on the Junior match. US Heavyweight no DQ match, I think that would be a lot of fun. It's just going to be a crazy brawl. They're going to do some mad stuff. It'll be brutal, and I'm looking forward to that. Okada versus Sanada, there's just no drama in there. You know, Sanada's not winning. He's not taking the title to Wrestle Kingdom. So I fear that it's going to be another one of their matches that is just too long and predictable, because G1 matches are always more exciting because there's genuine unpredictability. You've no idea who's going to win. And I thought, you know, to go by the matches that they've had, the New Japan Cup match, exciting because you don't know who's going to win. Title match at Dontaku, boring. You know Okada's going to win. G1 match, it's exciting. You don't know who's going to win. Title match here, I'm worried it's going to be boring again, Damon.
Yeah. I hate to say this, but they might have to have a real crazy G1 winner one year just to keep everybody fucking honest, right? Again, I don't know. Look, Sanada getting the win was made a great G1 moment. I don't know. I don't know how you fix that. Like you I don't know. I don't know how you fix it. But yeah, you're right. Going into King of Pro Wrestling, I don't think anybody's sitting here thinking that Sanada's walking away with that title, which hurts. But I will say this. Well, you did mention it. It hurt the Suzuki match for you, right? Versus Okada just this past weekend, right? Because you knew you weren't going to see a title change.
Yeah, and that is just a complaint with the whole post G1 schedule, to give it the British pronunciation. It's predictable in terms of the IWGP heavyweight title scene.
Yeah, I don't know how you circumvent that.
Well, you just said it. Have someone else win the G1 or have someone lose the briefcase. You got to freshen things up there somehow. But it's not happening with Sanada.
No, that's the thing. It's not happening with Sanada. Moxley lose the title?
That's a tricky one.
What day is this show? King of Pro Wrestling.
Let me just check.
All right, sorry about that. I hear you cursing me.
Because I've just got a screenshot with the top matches on there.
Oh, so really? Okay.
It is, it's always a struggle for me on these Mondays where I know that the cards are going to be announced, and I'm usually at work just hitting refresh on my phone because I want to, be the first person to get those matches up there on Twitter, to get the retweets, get the follows, and build our evil empire where we're destroying people's livelihoods. So yeah, that's what I was doing today. And King of Pro Wrestling. Oh man, I've got to go on page 2 for this. My stalling has just failed.
You're fine. No, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Okay, Monday, October 14th, we got King of Pro Wrestling. And also we got sandwiched between Destruction and King of Pro Wrestling. We have the Fighting Spirit Unleashed shows, which are September 27th, 28th and 29th. So that's worth keeping in mind. But yeah, to your original question, October 14th is King of Pro Wrestling.
Okay. Well, obviously he's not dropping that title before AEW TV, which is like October 2nd, is it, or something like that? I would venture that we're getting a title change here. Give me your thoughts on that. Scale of 1 to 10.
How likely I think it's going to happen? Likelihood.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to give it. I'm going to give it a 6 because I think we will see Jon Moxley at Wrestle Kingdom. So then it just makes things a bit muddier if Moxley doesn't have the title, who he's going to be facing. And then if Juice does have the title, is he going to be defending that at Wrestle Kingdom? Who's he going to be defending it against? So there's a lot of uncertainty there. And I like that. I like that it's not as predictable as it was last year where everybody knew that it was going to be Juice winning the belt back from Cody at Wrestle Kingdom. So yeah, I'll give you a 6 out of 10 chance that Juice is going to win the title.
I'm going a little bit higher. Just from the logistics standpoint of just getting the title off of him. I'm sure he's going to have lots of commitments come every week. There's TV for the AEW crew, so he might have other obligations. So we'll see. But I would go at 8 that Jon Moxley's losing that title.
All right, so those are the big matches from the Destruction / King of Pro Wrestling tour, which leaves me with one thing I wanted to plug actually before we dip into some questions, and that is my second episode of Cruel Summer with WH Park, where on Post Wrestling, where we discussed the 2017 G1 Climax final between Tetsuya Naito and Kenny Omega, and it's always fun to chat to WH, who is a great guy to hang out with and chat with. So I thought that other people have commented that there's good chemistry in that show, which is nice because I get to see WH and hang out with him twice a year, and we go and eat and drink together and have a good time, and I think that comes across in the podcast. So it's a fun chat. I absolutely smashed the trivia section, and there's some really terrible predictions as far as Naito goes, because obviously that was recorded before the G1 Climax finish, so it's definitely worth a listen. And so I want to congratulate WH on a great job with the whole Cruel Summer series that he did, because they've all been really good, and it must have been a pain in the arse to organise all those different time zones and people across the world that he was doing it with. So good job there, and go and check out that episode.
Well, why don't you two just go fuck or something? Jesus. I mean, am I going to lose?
Jealous, David.
I am. My God.
Listen, okay. January, let's have a threesome. You can't say fairer than that.
That is true. Good point. We'll clunk heads. This sounds like a good idea.
You can do an Eiffel Tower on me.
Nice. I know what that is. Done. Oh boy, look at where we've gone. No wonder we're hated. Yeah, he does a great job with that. That was a really good idea. He's got another project right around the corner, by the way, Joel. I don't know if you're privy.
Yes, the Liger thing. Is that right?
Sure. Oh yeah.
Is that a secret?
No, because it was called Thunderstruck. He did mention that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, we're good there. Like this whole show is. Can we talk about this? Can we not talk about this? That's not been this entire
And then
show.
I was just agonising about it afterwards. Dan, can you get around 35 minutes? We talked about this. And
Right. Chop
this bit, no, not that bit. I can't take out that bit because otherwise it's not going to make sense. I'm going to have to take out the whole conversation. Can you just edit out after this word in the sentence and blend those two together? It sounds weird. I know it sounds weird, but just go with it.
Yeah, you have no idea the conversations that we have with poor Dan. All right, so yes, Thunderstruck. I don't know. Might have some people there that might be recording some shows for that in the coming days. So keep a watch out for that. You might hear some familiar voices on the great WH Park's Thunderstruck series.
All right, let's do a few questions before we go then from the Discord. So Tyler, what a gentleman, who sent me a selection of Buffalo Wild Wings sauces and seasonings, because I was lamenting the fact that I couldn't be there in Dallas and you guys all went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I was looking at the Buffalo Wild Wings menu and all the different sauces, and I was saying, I'd like to try this one and this one and this one, and Tyler, he only bloody sent them to me halfway across the world. What a wonderful guy. Can't say enough good things about him.
He's the best. He's the fucking best. He got me a beer sampler that I was able to sneak home in my luggage. A bunch of different craft beers from his area, which were fantastic. He told me it was like a peanut butter and jelly concoction. Like, I had to mix 2 beers together. It was really fucking great. Yeah, he's a great dude. Great job by him. So, okay, question from him. Yes.
See, Damon, how do you feel after the draft today? I'm excited to whip your ass this season.
Oh, Well, I'm excited to eat your ass. What do you think of that? Let's see here. We're talking about the fantasy football draft that we had for the Super J Cast. If you were in our Discord, you could have hopped in on that and participated. And I got to be honest with you, my draft, I draft low. I was next to last out of 13 teams. I think I drafted 12th. So it was slim pickings by the time the running backs were coming around. So I was able to scoop up one, double backed around, and even like it was slim pickings. So I got to be honest with you, I'm not super in love. So then my theory was I'm just going to take people to fuck with people. So I wound up taking like Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback, and then I was like, "Fuck it." I took Carson Wentz too. So I just wanted to kind of.
Was Mahomes your first pick? Who was your first pick?
No, it was Gurley from the Rams, running back.
I got Gurley. Have you seen my team?
No, I haven't. Is it good?
Oh, I should tell you my team. I think I want to know your thoughts on it because you're the expert.
Oh.
So I'm just going through like a fuck ton of messages in the Discord, but I do want your assessment of it because I had my draft yesterday and I had Xavier, who stayed up very, very late to help me do this. So massive thanks to you. And D the Great, who also helped out. So I've got Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill, Todd Gurley, Devonta Freeman, Vance McDonald, Tyler Lockett, Christian Kirk, Rashad Penny, AJ Green, Kyle Rudolph, Kareem Hunt, Phillip Rivers, Will Lutz, and the New Orleans defense.
It's not bad. That's not bad. How many people are in your team? Or how many people?
10, and okay. I was 7th with the pick.
Okay, that's not bad. That's actually, I mean, that's a pretty good team. It's a pretty strong team. I got Gurley, Travis Kelce, Mahomes, Brandon Cooks from the Rams, wide receiver. Mark Ingram, the running back from Baltimore. And then I went to fuck you mode and I picked Carson Wentz as my backup quarterback because there was just nothing left. It really wasn't. So I figured let's ruin some people's lives.
I should have done that because there's a guy in our draft his team name is Wentzylvania. So I should have just picked Wentz just to fucking ruin his team name. Because I did that with our Premier League fantasy draft because there's a colleague of mine who's from Argentina, absolutely worships Aguero. And I had no intention of picking Aguero. And then this guy entered his team name as Aguero's Power. So I was like, you forced my hand there. I've got to pick him just to fuck with you.
Right, exactly. That was kind of like some of my I have Deshaun Jackson from the Eagles. I figure he might get some long bombs thrown his way. Marvin Jones from Detroit. Marvin Jones from Detroit. Jordan Howard, my running back, like a backup running back. The Jaguars. Little Tony Khan for you, their defense. So, I feel like it's a little bit middle of the road. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not expecting greatness, let's put it that way. So the ass whipping may very well take place.
And he says, with Royal Quest in the bag and a clear audience for New Japan in London, what do you think the chances are that we get a G1 block night there next year? I think it could happen.
I think it could happen.
Good numbers here.
Yeah, look, you did yourselves no harm, right? With the gate and the crowd and all that. I'll give you a definitely maybe. I think moving it to the autumn months might play a little bit against you because, they're gonna. Well, I can't. You know what? I can't even say that might be it. Look, definitely maybe. And after the Royal Quest show, I think your chances of something like that happening have greatly improved. Let's put it that way.
Low Magician says, what's Kenta seeing in New Japan now? It looks like he's there full time. I could see him as IWGP title challenger for a big show. I don't think he's ever going to win that. I could see him as IC champion. I think he's at that level.
Yeah. I think that's his ceiling. I don't think we're looking at a heavyweight title. Here's the problem. I would be mostly concerned with just injuries and shit like that. I think he's a credible challenger to any title. That's where I think he's at. I think he is a credible heel challenger to any championship.
Rika Tatsumi says Damon has a fascination with Honma nipples. You were dipping into the Honma nipple well quite a few times during the nipples challenge last week.
I just thought it was him. I don't have a fascination with it. So I have a fascination
It's
with
okay
Riley.
if you have. There's no kink shaming on the Super J cast.
There's no I mean, it's not him particularly. No, I would not say it is a fascination with his nipples specifically. I do like a nipple. I think nipples are nice. I like a nipple.
And he's got nice nipples.
I mean, look. I mean, I'm not complaining about his nipples. I don't think they're horrific. Truth be told, I like the female form and the areola and nipples that are involved in the female form breast. I would
from this show, you could isolate about 10 clips from this to make a best of compilation from this episode alone.
Right. Now, again, if I had a preference, but so certainly not on the top of my list of overall nipple fetishism. But yeah, look, I like a nipple. I like a nice nipple.
We can admire it from an aesthetic point of view.
Absolutely.
So there you go. I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely.
Elia Ras says, everyone keeps talking about how New Japan needs to drop ROH and partner with AEW. What people don't consider is the position of the CMLL partnership. Do you think AEW being partnered with Triple A is one of the biggest hurdles and wedges being driven into this theoretical partnership?
It's weird, isn't it? Isn't pro wrestling weird that there is this? I sit with these kids at the lunch table, and I don't sit with these kids at the lunch table. A hurdle. I'm gonna. Like in Mexico, maybe, but let's be truthful. Neither company is what you would call mainstream in this country, right? Neither company is breaking down walls when it comes to gates or attendance or money or all that. I think the AEW thing. I think there's so many different layers to what people are perceiving as a middle finger and a fuck you, right? And some of it might be accurate, some of it might not be, some of it might be male ego getting in the way, right? And listen, that's been a root of problem for centuries, right? That male ego, and you're not going to see it anywhere else stronger than pro wrestling, that's for sure. Could it be a factor? Yes. Could it be an important factor? It's a factor. It is a factor. Sometimes I just have to shake my head at it and just be like, you're adults. You can make money, right? You're fighting over scraps, and you don't have to. This would make the most sense. Again, I'm not saying the proverbial lock him in a room and hash it out. Not saying that, but it just from a distance, man, it does fucking seem silly, doesn't it? It does seem silly.
Liam says, hi, Gathering of the Juggalos, the most eminent cultural event of the 21st century. What? You have to throw one New Japan wrestler into the Gathering of the Juggalos. Who would thrive the most in this bustling cultural environment? As someone who's already a Juggalo, Chris Jericho is not eligible.
Are you familiar with the Juggalos? You're familiar with the Juggalos, right, Joel?
I've seen pictures of them. Smart me up here.
Well, it's kind of like a counterculture-y kind of fan base. They have their Gathering of the Juggalos yearly. I want to say yearly. I'm not too familiar with it. Where they all get in a field, and there's music and comedy, and there's even been pro wrestling. And now I don't know how big it is now, right? But it is a thing where, it draws people, and it's a pretty big event. Personally, I don't know anyone who is a Juggalo, so I don't know that. But they do have a certain look and a certain feel. So what New Japan Pro Wrestler might fit into that Juggalo mold? I would think like a Naito might, to be honest. He might thrive in that, right? Maybe a Doki. Doki might be your guy. Doki.
Right, so this is someone who's a fan of Insane Clown Posse.
Correct.
Or any other Psychopathic Records hip-hop groups. So
Correct.
who on the roster looks like a Psychopathic Records hip-hop devotee?
Yeah, that would be it. That would be it. I don't know. I've heard rumors that there might be a lot of illegal substances you could find there. Heavy partying, good times had by all. All that.
Just looking at the face paint, El Desperado, surely.
You think Despy's the guy? But with the face paint. I think Doki's your guy. I think Doki is got that. He's got that legitimate air that I think their fans would like. That the street cred that their fans might enjoy. Despy's not a bad one, but I'm sticking with Doki. I think Doki would slide right on in there and have that is it Feo, the soda? There's a certain brand of soda that they enjoy, Joel. The Insane Clown Posse. I believe it's Feo. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I just kind of know that's the thing. He would slide right on in there. Great question, I guess.
Right, Jeff says, Uncle Damon, can you tell us the Mikey Whipwreck story? And can we together take a victory lap in knowing what inspired that Shota storyline as ECW fans?
All right. I'll give you the quick Reader's Digest version. The quick too long didn't read. So back in the day, once again, HWI, the leader in backyard pro wrestling, we used to rent Larry Sharp's ring. And there was a show, and I forget exactly which show it was, but Mikey Whipwreck either won the ECW TV title the night before, or it was a big title defense, or some shit like that. But it was a big deal because everybody went, and the place sold out, and it was packed, and it was a big deal on television, whatever. The next Sunday, like the next day, following after this ECW show, Mikey Whipwreck wrestles, and I put in air quotes, my brother at Larry Sharp's ring with nobody there in a backyard promotion, right? So we were all like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. On the same show, the same backyard pro wrestling show, I think it was Blue Meanie, wrestled for our backyard wrestling promotion as the Atlantic City Sinner, and me and him were the tag team champions. Also on this show, and I may have my memories mixed up, and I'm sure like somebody like Mackie or somebody will fill me in, but if I'm not mistaken, also on this show was, and it might have been a different show, but D'Lo Brown was in a battle royal on this backyard show, and I think Reckless Youth was in there. This was before they went to Al Snow's, and this was before Meanie went to Al Snow. I might have my timelines mixed up, but my brother wrestled Mikey Whipwreck the day after an ECW. I want to say the ECW, the day he won the ECW TV title.
That is incredible. I can't. You must have so many stories like this that you haven't shared on the podcast as well.
Oh, I got a million from the day. Yeah, I got a million stories. And then he was like, "Do you ever were you ever on a show with Mick Foley, Cactus Jack?" And I was like, "Yeah, we did 2 or 3 shows. He worked at Dennis Corluzzo's show, and we were on the show. And there was one where we did a run in after a match, and he laid us all out. That was actually pretty crazy." I don't know if I could tell the story though of him in the locker room. Nah, I'll save that one. I'll tease that one. I'll tease my Mick Foley story. But yeah, I got a lot of stories. Look, if anything, I've led an interesting life.
Nuclear Potato says, do you take Tamatonga and Tangaloa at their word, or is there in fact someone on roster who's realer than Gorilla?
I don't know what that means. Can you translate
right. Next question. Austin Pickle says, since the heavyweight tag team scene is lacking right now, are there teams Damon would want New Japan to sign, or would Damon like 2 current roster guys to team up instead? If so, who? I feel like we answer this question every
1,000
week.
times. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, my answer is now just get rid of the entire division. No more tag teams in New Japan because they don't know how to book them properly. TTT says, I was just thinking about the comments you made a few weeks back regarding the New Japan talent from the last War of the Worlds tour. Can I take it to mean you do not feel Nagata and Kojima hold legend status? creators? If you feel they do, then why would they be considered less than previous talent sent over? Same logic can be used with Sanada. It should be a big deal for the guy who had just main evented a big event with Okada to come to town, shouldn't it?
I don't remember saying that. My point was
No, we didn't say that they're not legends, but
No.
you could. Yeah, go ahead.
But what I said was during those War Worlds tours was I would rather see those people. People wanted to see Tenzan and Nagata and all them, and they weren't there. Instead, we got Jay Lethal and the Briscoes, right? And that's one of the reasons why I always say, hey, did it feel like a New Japan authentic show? And until G1 in Dallas, I don't really feel like I got that true New Japan pro wrestling experience in the United States. Of course, in Japan you did. But no, I wanted to see Tenzans, and I wanted to see Nagatas, and I wanted to see Nakanishis, and I wanted to see those people instead of, again, Jay Lethals and Matt Tavens and all those people of the world. No, I absolutely consider those legends. I don't think I ever said that, did I?
I don't remember saying that either. Then again, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, so
That's a good
probably
point.
asking the wrong person there. Trigger, so, okay, this is a good answer for the relentless tag team questions. Silly question, pants down rating. Honma and Taguchi tag team name Heads and Tails. There you go. There's the tag team that's going to save the entire division. So, have that one for
Pants
free.
down. No, I mean pants up. Pants up.
Mixelflick says, where would you rather see the Rascals land, assuming they will go to one of the following: New Japan, All Elite, or WWE? No, they probably can't do the 70s show promos in New Japan. So, any thoughts on the Rascals, Damon?
Who? What? What am I doing? The Rascals.
Yeah, do you know who they are?
No. No. Who?
I'd have to look that up. It's a tag team. I think it's okay, let me check it. Desmond Xavier, Zachary Wentz, Myron Reed, and Trey Miguel. Are you familiar with them at all?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not. And that makes
No.
me a terrible pro wrestling fan. I'm sorry, but I don't have.
There we
anything.
go. We tried. Spicy Ride says, Joel, have you ever played Mega Man games? I highly recommend Mega Man X Collection. Some great platforming and music in that series. I have tried to play Mega Man X a little bit. It's on my little mini SNES thing. I will give it another go. At the moment, I am engrossed in Chrono Trigger, which is an incredible game. I can't believe I haven't played it sooner. So I'm having a wonderful time with Chrono Trigger. So after that, definitely open to more suggestions. Mega Man X, I'll give it a go. Xavier says, is it David Finley's time to move on, or do you feel that he can still have a chance to make some noise in New Japan?
This is it. I mean, after he comes back from injury, you're going to see in 2 months. I give it 2 months. If nothing's being done in 2 months, then we got a problem. And then, yes, he should move on. If he comes back from injury and there's nothing for him planned, or he's not in a prominent role, and by prominent role, I mean at least solid mid-card guy, time to move on.
Dweeb says, where do you think we'd be if, when contacted by Tony Khan, Cody directed Khan to New Japan officials in hopes of aiding their US expansion? Do you think they would have ever struck a deal, or do you think New Japan would want to keep things in their own hands?
Look, I don't know the ins and outs of what was talked about leading up to January. You have to think that they being AEW, knew what they wanted to do and the vision that they had. And I would think, and we've talked about this before, that there had to have been discussions in that, hey, New Japan, AEW in some kind of partnership would have been the best way to go. Now, again, I don't know whose feathers got ruffled. I don't know in what, I don't know if it was Kenny ruffling feathers, or New Japan just hand-waving it and saying you're not as valuable as you think you are, or whatever the case may be. All I know is that when we were in Tokyo, that's when they were announcing AEW really getting launched, right? And things have progressively snowballed, TV contract and all that. Look, New Japan, New Japan, you would have thought this time last year when the rumbling started, New Japan would be in a really good spot from a TV contract perspective here in the States. And let's be honest, that hasn't happened yet, right? And we don't know if that will happen, period, right? What from a New Japan Pro Wrestling perspective, Joel, I'm gonna break out of the box here. On a scale of 1 to 10, once again, 10 being home run, super successful, couldn't have been better, and 1 being pathetic, they shit the bed. Where do you fit in New Japan Pro Wrestling's North American expansion?
I would give it a solid 7.
A 7.
Definitely room for improvement, but I think they've done a very good job so far.
Given what we know now and the year that they've had, would you have expected more? When I say more, a profitable TV contract somewhere, buildings and gates and figures that would somewhat rival AEW? Wasn't that the idea people had in their heads of what New Japan Pro Wrestling in the United States was going to look like, and West, we'll call it, was going to look like?
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Right? So to me, I'm kind of listen. I think we've had success. Don't get me wrong, but and I kind of like, I don't want to say it, but that's where people thought we would be in a year or two. Am I out of my mind in that?
So where would you be on the scale then?
Really, 5. I think we're at a 5. Right? We're at a 5. Joe, we're running 2,000 seaters. Right? We're running 2,000 seaters. That's our sweet spot right now. 2,000 seaters. We don't have a TV contract in the United States. We have Access TV. Is Access TV bringing in money? They're not going to get a TV deal from Japan. Japan's not going to pay them U.S. sports programming money, right? That's not going to happen. I don't know. I'm kind of like, it's not a home run. This is not the home run that we were thinking it was going to happen. It's I don't know. I think a 5 is where we're at.
Okay. Well, not sure what to say to that. I hope that's answered the question. I'll tell you what I will say. It's 10 past 11 at night, so
too much to think about.
Forgive me if my attention starts wandering.
Yeah. All right. Give me one more question, and then we'll get you to bed. Come on.
Okay, Pumpkin Bully says, who would you put on this hunk/fuck energy template courtesy of @in every ending? So if you have a look on the WhatsApp, there's a little matrix here with, I'll just read the categories here. We've got unhunk, no fuck, respectable hunk, no fuck, hunkerino, no fuck, unhunk, yeah, you get the idea.
Look, all right, look, maybe I'll work on this later. This is I can't do all this. This is crazy. Unhunk, respect. Come on. Jesus Christ.
Ask someone on the Discord.
Yeah. Somebody
not in our wheelhouse, is it?
I'm gonna make the tag to somebody in our Discord, and then I'll read off your answers. If somebody in our Discord will take the time to fill that out, I will give that person full props on next week's show. How about that?
There we go.
I got a house and 2 fucking car payments. I can't be doing all this.
All right, okay, that will do it then. So thank you, everyone. Who am I thanking? Dan, for coming on the show. You can join our Discord. Link to that is in the show notes. It's very good on the Discord because they ask us stupid questions like that. You can buy one of our t-shirts on prowrestlingtees.com/superjcast. And now you can send us money for no reason whatsoever on the... let me get that address for you again. That is redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast. So I wouldn't do it if I were you, but you can. So if you're rich and or mental, you can give us some money. So there you go. So thanks again to Dan for everything that you do for us. You can visit his YouTube channel 219 Films, on Twitter, as he said, @EscapeTheBoxUK. Please subscribe to the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network because they're giving any old fuckers sponsorship deals on there except for us. So go and listen to their shit. Give us a 5-state review on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at the Super J Cast. Thank you everyone for listening, and goodbye.